Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by Jack in the Box. Get the new Bourbon Barbecue Steak Grilled Sandwich now at Jack in the Box. Oh, as we said, you could not possibly order up a better day to be at a ballpark. 73 degrees, very little breeze, not a cloud in the sky over the ballpark as the Rangers take the field behind Alexi Ogando, who tries to go to 4-0. Here's the lineup Ogando will face for manager John Farrell and the Blue Jays, and Mike McCoy moves up into the leadoff spot. Ranger killer Corey Patterson, Jose Bautista, who kills everybody these days, has now 2 years running. Adam Lind has had a big series. Rivera breaking out of a long slump. Encarnacion, and the bottom third, Snyder, Molina, and the veteran shortstop John McDonald, giving Junel Escobar a day off.
Well, check out the scouting report on Alexi. He's had 4 starts. He's 3-0. His ERA is a solid 2.13. A lot of innings, at least 6 innings in each start. Only 15 hits in 25 innings. Only 5 walks in 25 innings. Opponents are only hitting 169 against him. That's 3rd in the American League. He's given up 4 home runs, and that's accounted for all 6 of the runs that he's given up this year. 3 of the home runs, 5 of the runs came at Yankee Stadium, and the other run came in his last start of victory over Kansas City on a home run by Kila Kaiahue.
Ron Washington aligns the Rangers' defense this way behind Ogando. Outfield, Cruz in left. Bourbon center, Mitch Moreland is in right. Chris Davis taking over at first base with Kinsler, Andrews, and Beltre. And Mike Napoli will do the catching. Alexi Ogando, the first pitcher in franchise history to start 3-0 or better with a 220 or better earned run average in his first 4 major league starts. By that measurement, off to the best start by a pitcher at the beginning of his major league career with the Rangers. 7-6 Texas last night on the 7th inning Mitch Moreland home run. Mike McCoy settles in and takes the ball inside. Officially 73 degrees. A lot you could do on a day like this one, but nothing better than being here at the ballpark. Ogando a little bit outside and low. Mike McCoy last night picked up his first run batted in of the season. That came in the 3rd inning. And a good fastball finds the inside corner. 2 balls and a strike.
Now, Lexi's had a consistent fastball this year, anywhere from 92 to occasionally up to 96. Not consistently what he threw in short relief, but that's not a surprise. It's hard to throw 100 pitches and keep the 97-mile-an-hour velocity there. But solid velocity and good breaking pitches, too. Curveball and a slider that he's thrown for strikes. Been very impressive the way he's made the transition after a brief career as a setup reliever.
And he takes care of McCoy with a 95-mile-an-hour heater climbing the ladder. And we look at our Ford leaderboard. And specifically, the Rangers' home ERA beginning last year. Look at Ogando, just about half the next best ERA, belonging to Darren O'Day. Amazing.
Yeah, half of that, and that one's pretty good in itself at 150.
Big cut and a miss by Corey Patterson.
Now, Patterson went up there after seeing the heat that he threw to McCoy, looking fastball all the way, cheating on it a little bit, trying to get out in front of a fastball. And he didn't see the fastball. He saw the breaking ball instead.
Patterson in an 0 for 17 until Sunday against Tampa Bay. Now behind no balls and 2 strikes. Of course, Patterson, if he's slumping, he's going to break out of it here. And he absolutely has done that. A modest 4-game hitting streak.
The other thing that helps Patterson, as he can run.
Napoli will apply the tag.
That was not what you would call an impressive at bat right there. That was, I think Patterson was overmatched to the point in that at bat. He swung at 2 pitches and way out of the strike zone.
Just lost too much of the will to live to try and run down to first base. As he went for a ball that bounced just behind the dish.
He swung at a fastball that was down around the ankles and then swung at a breaking ball that actually bounced.
So 2 up, 2 strikeouts, and here is Jose Bautista, and he goes after the first pitch. Bautista last night 1 for 4. The hit doubled in 2 runs in their 3-run 4th inning. Much of this year he has been, for all practical purposes, a one-man offense for John Farrell, and now he's down no balls and 2 strikes. 8 home runs, but only 13 runs batted in. He pitched around a lot, hasn't come up much with men on base. And Ogando trying to see if he might reach that far. Bautista again begins the day atop several categories, including batting average. Michael Young in the 4th spot. And another slider is a little bit outside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's the hard slider, that, as Alexi calls it. That's about an 82 to 84 mile an hour pitch.
That one dialed up to 95, but a little bit wide, according to Gary Darling, the home plate umpire in Crucci.
Yep, good call. A little bit outside.
So 3-2, and outside for ball 4 as he dialed that one up to 96 miles an hour.
He jumped ahead, no balls and 2 strikes by throwing a couple of strikes, and then pitched carefully to the point where he ended up walking Bautista. Bautista will get a lot of walks this year. If he doesn't walk 140 times this year, it'll be a surprise. Doesn't have quite the same offensive power around him this year as he did last year, and he walked 100 times last year.
Well, here's some power in Adam Lind, who had a 2-homer game Tuesday. Bautista last year, down in the count 0-2, worked walks 15 times, as he just did. And that's another category where you find Bautista's name atop the American League. Walks, on base percentage.
I think some pitchers have to pitch a lot more carefully to Bautista than others, because their stuff isn't quite the same as Ogando's. But you throw a 96 mile an hour sinker or a hard breaking ball down around the knees, and you can get a lot of people out.
Well, that pitch getting through Napoli, and down to second goes Bautista. We await the ruling from Steve Weller, our official scorer, and it is a wild pitch. And it's 2 balls and no strikes now on Lind. 18 runs batted in, tied for 5th in the American League. And a high fly ball right field. Moreland goes back, looking up, and it is off the facing of the upper deck. A 2-out, 2-run home run by Adam Lind, and the Blue Jays jump to the early lead.
That's too bad, because Ogando came out with dominating stuff, threw 2 strikes to Bautista, and then just got a little too careful. Pitched Bautista with respect, which he deserves, but when you're ahead no balls and 2 strikes, he came back and didn't throw a strike, then got behind Lind, 2 balls and no strikes, threw a fastball up and in, and Lind, who's swinging the bat pretty well right now, is a different hitter 2-0 than he is if he's behind in the count.
Estimated difference out there, 411 feet. We've seen a couple hit the upper porch out there this homestand. The 0-1 pitch misses to Rivera. Juan Rivera in one of the deepest slumps of anybody in baseball not long ago. His first 12 games in the Blue Jay uniform, he hit 103, did not drive in a run. And since then, he's starting to look like the Juan Rivera the Rangers remember from Anaheim.
This could easily have been a 10 or 11 pitch inning for Ogando, 3 up and 3 down. I think he just got a little bit too cautious when he was ahead, no balls and 2 strikes.
Pitch number 21 drilled off the glove of Adrian Beltre. A hot smash for Rivera. And the 3rd straight Blue Jay reaches after the strikeouts of McCoy and Patterson. Well, if you get one past Beltre, you really have clobbered one.
Yep. All you can say is if it gets by him, it has to be a hit.
Almost brought it in. Instead, Rivera at first with 2 outs, and the third baseman for the Blue Jays, Edwin Encarnacion, with a .290 batting average, goes right after the first pitch. Encarnacion, 6 runs batted in. Last night's game, 1 for 5 with a double. He had been on the mend with a sore left wrist, missed 4 straight games before returning last night. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now Lexi's turned what had the potential to be a nice quick inning into at least a 24 pitch inning.
And the ball strike ratio now 12 strikes, 11 balls. That one lifted out to shallow center field, and Bourbon will come in and make the running catch and end the Toronto first. A 2-out walk to Bautista, a home run to the upper deck by Adam Lind, and it's 2-0 Blue Jays. Pitch first inning, already trailing 2-0, and the Rangers will hit this way today. Kinsler, Andrus, Young the DH, Beltre, Cruz, and Moreland in the middle, and Napoli, Chris Davis at first, and Bourbon will be batting ninth. And Brandon Morrow, in just his 2nd start of the year, is the type pitcher, Tom, where a lot of people have expected that at some point he will become an elite starting pitcher.
Yeah, I would say that's a distinct possibility with the stuff that he has. He's definitely a strikeout pitcher. In his 1 start, he pitched 5 1/3, struck out 10. That was at Tampa Bay. Started the season on the DL. He was shut down in the middle of spring training with right forearm inflammation. In his career, he struck out over 10 batters per 9 innings. It's the most in the big leagues since 2007, as long as you have at least 300 innings pitched.
Well, he's set to go, and the first pitch, ball 1 to Kinsler. He had batting .216, 5 homers, 11 runs batted in. Last night 0 for 2, but walked twice, stole a base, and scored. And that one just a little inside as well. 2 balls and no strikes. Morrow was shut down for a while in spring training on March 18th. He had developed tightness in his forearm. And a ground ball out to the shortstop. John McDonald on over to Lind, and Ian Kinsler is the first out in the Ranger first. Defensively for the Blue Jays, an outfield of Snyder, Patterson, and Bautista. An infield of Encarnacion, McDonald, McCoy, and Lind, and Jose Molina doing the catching. Elvis Andrus now with a .226 average, a home run, and 11 runs batted in. One of those came last night. He was 1 for 4, drove in a run and scored a run in the Rangers' 6-run third inning. And looks at a first pitch down the middle.
The Blue Jays have 2 young right-handed starters, Morrow and Drabek. Similar in the way that they pitch. They each have fastballs well into the 90s with great sinking action to them. Hard breaking pitches and immense talent with a great future. Morrow came over from Seattle in a trade for Brandon League.
Good swing on a breaking ball and a base hit for Elvis Andrus.
When Morrow was in Seattle, they shuffled him between closer and starter and lost confidence in him early. And that's evidenced by the way they traded him for a setup reliever. Nothing against Brandon League, but the potential for Morrow to be an elite starter is a lot different than the potential to be a late inning bullpen pitcher. And Morrow, the minute he got to Toronto, was converted into a starting pitcher. And as you said, Dave, has shown signs of having the potential to become a top of the rotation guy.
It really started to click for him mid-season last year. From July 17th on, he was 5-0 with a .291 earned run average and a .196 opponent batting average. Bruce Walton, the pitching coach, has worked with him on a couple of mechanical issues. One, he used to throw straight over the top, and he's dropped down to 3/4 now. It's found a consistent arm slot there. And he gets more torque when he starts his windup turning his back to home plate. And then there's that much more force behind it when he turns and unloads. Michael Young last night saw his 15-game hit streak come to a close. The previous night that happened, last night, a 2-run double and a run scored. He was responsible for half the 6 runs in the third inning. And they got a new hitting streak going, perhaps. Looks at a pitch down low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Morrow, especially in his days as a reliever, was known to dial it up pretty much anytime he wanted to into the high 90s. He still has that pitch, but only brings it out when it's absolutely necessary. Most of the time you're going to see 91, 92, as we've seen so far in this first inning from him. Suspecting Elvis may have a notion to go, so they keep close tabs on him over at first base. Morrow just 26. Great pitcher's frame, 6'3", 196. Elvis is not going, and Michael Young, with an opposite field bid, puts that one out of play. 2 balls and a strike. Elvis yet to be caught, but it's really been a case of Elvis not running as much as you would expect him to do at this point in the season. He has not stolen a base, in fact, in the last 8 games. Mariners former prospect Morrow, now as a starter, having to learn how to deal with speed on the base paths and working very deliberately with a 2-1 count on Young. It's been given a 2-0 lead in the top half of the first inning, and now trying not to give any of that back in the Rangers first. There goes Elvis, and on a hit and run foul back. He got a great jump too, with Michael just behind that one a little bit, and it's 2-2. Rangers as a team, 6th in stolen bases this year. It looked as if it was going to be very difficult to throw him out if the ball hadn't been fouled off. 17 stolen bases in 24 attempts for the Rangers. That's right around the middle of the league. They're 6th. They're playing a team that is much more aggressive on the base paths this year. Toronto 3rd in the league in steals. There he goes again, and a swing and a miss. Young is retired, out number 2. Andrus with another great jump down there at second, now in scoring position. And with 2 outs, Adrian Beltre will try and bring him home.
And Morrow is not the easiest guy to catch. He has so much movement on his fastball. That was a hard slider down. But because of the movement, he keeps the ball down, doesn't have pinpoint control, throws hard. All those things add up to be not simple for the catcher.
Well, Molina and Morrow discussing their options here with Beltre.
Last year in the rotation, he struck out 178 batters in 146 innings, almost 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. He had a 1-hit shutout, gave up a hit with 2 outs in the 9th inning to Tampa Bay, and struck out 17 last year, which I think kind of speaks to what we're talking about as far as his potential goes.
Never really a question about his stuff. Question was, would he harness it and be able to use it on a consistent basis? And
you have to wonder the logic that Seattle used. They made him the 5th pick in the draft out of Cal Berkeley, so obviously an immensely talented kid. But after pitching 6 or 7 innings in the minor leagues, 16 innings in the minor leagues, they brought him right straight to the big leagues way before he was ready to be polished enough to be successful at the big league level. Then they shuffled him between closer and starter, and then traded him.
Beltre looking for something good to hit. Instead, he takes ball 3 low. Nelson Cruz on deck. Andrus at second base with 2 outs after a single and a steal. And the Rangers trying not to let this first inning opportunity go by against Morrow, and that one is a strike over the outside corner. Beltre ready to drop his bat and head down to first, it appeared. No Ranger has had more at bats in these situations than Beltre. Runner in scoring position. This is the 27th at bat for him. He's 5 out of 26. And lines that one right back up the middle. Andrus around third. He will score, and it's 2-1.
We talked about Ogando getting behind Lind, 2 balls and no strikes, and allowing Lind to become a much better hitter looking for a fastball. And the same thing just happened to Morrow. Got behind Beltre, 3 balls and no strikes, threw a fastball at 97 for a strike, comes back with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle of the plate, and sees it goes right over his head at about 100 miles an hour. It just, again, already in the first inning with 2 kids with great arms, shows that even with those arms, even with that velocity, you get behind good big league hitters and come in with a fastball, you give them a pretty good shot.
Cruz swinging on the first pitch, skies one out to Bautista in right field, and that'll do it for the Ranger first, but they get a run back on 2 base hits, 1 man left. After 1, the Blue Jays 2 and the Rangers 1. we welcome Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Dave. Great day for baseball, right, guys? Yeah, you bet. And a great time to also talk about the Park Place dealership Texas Rangers triple play, just about a month away. Join in on the phone. Your favorite Ranger player take on the teammates in their Fielder's Feud in a minute to win it. You can do so. Be a part of that. I'll help out the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation. Check out the information on your screen, as well as log on to TexasRangers.com. We got a bachelor party going on. Sean gets married this weekend.
Hey!
What's going through your mind, big guy?
It's going to be the best day of my life, unlike the other guy. Yeah.
Unlike the other guy, yeah. Good choice on that one. You're starting to...
groomsman right here.
All right, you want to show off the groomsman? That's good to go. All right, guys, good luck there, Sean. Dave.
Never know what you're going to get.
No, you don't. Snyder fouls that one back, and it's 1-2. Now, obviously referring to the fan who was talking about his engagement for all the world to see, and he said he expected the wedding day would be the worst day of his life.
that is viral.
That is not getting off to a good start in your relationship. Up high, 2-2 to Snyder, a 181 hitter, a home run, 12 runs batted in. Snyder drafted in the first round in 06. And he swings through that one. Strikeout number 3 for Alexi Ogando.
Yeah, that's what Ogando calls his slower slider. It's really a hard curveball. The harder slider goes more from right to left. That one goes right to left and down. Got Snyder to swing over the top of it.
Alexi got the first 2 batters of the game. Now Snyder, first batter of the second. And here's Molina. Jose hitting .313. He played the first game of this series, went 0 for 4 on Monday, snapping a modest hitting streak at 5 games. A lot of youth coming up through the Toronto system, and Molina, part of their veteran core, sharing the catching duties with J.P. Arencibia.
Yeah, it's interesting that in this series, Molina has caught Kyle Drabeck and now Brandon Morrow, 2 of the younger right-handers, almost as if to say John Farrell wanted the veteran leadership of Molina behind the plate for his youngest 2 starters, which is, I think, a pretty nice compliment if that's the case to Molina.
That one not close. It is 3 balls and a strike. And Molina brings not just experience, but World Series experience, part of the Angels champions in 2002. Originally drafted by the Cubs in the 14th round. Fouls that one back. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. John McDonald will be next as we play here in the top half of the second inning. This is the first time for Ogando to work on regular 4 days rest. Some off days in the first few weeks of the season. Big cut and a miss. Molina can't catch up to that one at 95 miles an hour. And as he did in the first, Ogando strikes out the first 2 Jays.
Nothing fancy there. Here's my fastball. See if you can hit it. Ogando coming into the game had averaged under 15 pitches per inning. One of the top 10 in the league as far as being efficient in that regard.
Now the 36-year-old veteran John McDonald. And he can't check his swing. Ogando's career high for strikeouts is 5, and that was in his last start over the weekend against Kansas City on Saturday. Got those in 6 innings. He's already at 4, and of course that only reflects the fact that he's only now, for 5 starts, been a member of the rotation. Last year, the 8th inning guy. Nelson Cruz over and in a few steps, fighting the sun perhaps a little bit. But he puts away John McDonald, and Ogando gets himself a 1-2-3 inning in the second.
Last night's solo home run was Mitch Moreland's fifth, I should say, game-winning RBI of this young season. Mitch says top to bottom, this lineup is very potent.
A lot of guys step up, 1 through 9. As you can't take a pitch off with this lineup. So, you never know who's going to come in that day and give you the big hit or move a base runner. We're a pretty complete lineup.
The bottom of the order has been big. That is today's Geico quote of the game. Mitch Moreland, of course, in the 6th hole today. And yesterday, guys, he did it with a lot on his mind. He was worried about his family in Amory, Mississippi. Of course, those tornadoes moved through that area. It's affected a lot of people around baseball. Our thoughts and prayers with all of those.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mitch. And strike 2. Moreland last night with the home run greeting Octavio Dotel in the 7th inning. Mitch's 5th game-winning run batted in already this year. No other Ranger has more than 2. So wherever he is, defensively, first base or right field, wherever he is in Ron Washington's batting order of the day, he finds a way to do whatever is required of him, whatever he is called on to do, just about every chance he gets. And he was right there just behind Johnny Damon in game-winning RBIs. But Morrow gets one past him. Strikeout number 2 for Brandon, and there's the first out of the bottom half of the 2nd inning.
Well, like Ogando, Morrow can get you on a variety of pitches. That's a hard breaking ball down and in. A lot like the hard breaking ball that Ogando has used effectively so far. Morrow's fastball, just about the same velocity as Ogando's. They both can occasionally pop it up there at 96 or 97. They both have good movement on their fastballs, too.
Mike Napoli now takes ball 1. Napoli hitting .289, 5 homers and 11 runs batted in. This is his 13th start in game 25 for the Rangers. Just about half the time he's in the lineup somewhere. Catcher, first base, DH. And a lot like Moreland, Tom, in that he always seems to find a way to contribute in a different way, several different ways, maybe over the course of a single game, depending on the situation. The thing that has really been impressive is his ability to work counts. He says he's always been that type of hitter. Doesn't think he's ever been over aggressive, and maybe just because we're getting to see him now on a daily basis is how we notice how good he is at keeping counts going, making pitchers work a little harder than they want to, making it maybe a little easier for the next guy. Morrow's 1-2 pitch. He gets a weak wave, and strikeout number 3.
That hard breaking ball is 88 miles an hour. Hard slider looks almost like a curveball the way it broke. A good hard slider right on the outside corner. Its curveball be a little slower than that and break a little bit more. That's a sharp breaking slider with good velocity and great location.
So with 2 outs, here's Chris Davis. And he goes right after a first pitch fastball.
Got a birthday wish for Phil Cook from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Phil was a big fan of our AA franchise when it used to be in Tulsa, the Tulsa Drillers. 80 years old today. Happy birthday, Phil.
You see in 4 games the numbers that Chris Davis has put up.
Dave, when you came into the booth early this morning, you said, all I hear about is the food up here. It looks like we've gotten shut out today. And man, were you wrong.
Did I ever speak too soon?
They had a beautiful Coca-Cola cake. What a combination. A Coca-Cola cake and a delicious batch of pickles from Miss Minnie's Cafe in Irving. Thank you very much, Mike Proctor and Vicki Marlett.
Yeah, I sampled those separately. That one passed Davis, and it shows 104 miles an hour out on the radar gun ring. Last night, did you guys notice?
200. There's one 200.
There were a few at 200 miles an hour. whatever that was. Davis couldn't catch up to it. And still alive here at 2-2. Davis batting for the 4th time against Brandon Morrow. He's 2 for 3. The hits are a double and a home run.
If you didn't like the Coca-Cola cake, you could have gone with the 24 Mindy Lou's pies that we got too. I don't know if you tried one of those. Kurt Dykert sampled everything and gave it a big thumbs up.
Well, that's his assignment, isn't it?
And right as the game started, my friend Jose Contreras from Fort Worth sent over his specialty. A delicious batch of tamales. So don't eat much during the game if you're hungry after the game. Jose's tamales are the best.
3-2 pitch, and Davis works along. Good at bat there for Chris.
Very nice at bat. Not easy to lay off those borderline pitches against a guy with this kind of stuff.
So Bourbon will step in. We remind you that Dr. Pepper brings you a great deal for most April and May Rangers home games. Upper level tickets for only $10 or Lexus Club Terrace tickets for $15. Bring any Dr. Pepper or Diet Dr. Pepper can to Rangers Ballpark or enter Dr. Pepper's the coupon code on TexasRangers.com. First pitch is in there to Julio. Bourbon batting .250, 6 runs batted in. He has been sitting on a pretty regular basis over the last week or so.
Well, if he keeps playing like he did in the last game 2 days ago, he won't be sitting very much. That was one of his better games this year.
Breaks his bat on that roller to McCoy. And Davis forced for out number 3. No runs on no hits in the second, and it is still 2-1 Blue Jays. Fox Sports Southwest brought to you by Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by AT&T. Dave Barnett, Tom Grieve, final game of his 10-game homestand. 2-1 lead for Toronto as Alexi Ogando in the third will work to the top of the order. Mike McCoy, Corey Patterson, and Jose Bautista. And a slow breaky ball in for a strike to McCoy, who struck out his first time up. Yeah, this I feel like today just should be declared an immediate baseball holiday. No school, no work. Everybody come out here.
Well, if I were back in school, I would definitely vote for that, and I wouldn't argue against it now.
Down at first base, Bruce Streckman says McCoy did not go. Ogando's been fine except for a 2-batter stretch in the first. He struck out McCoy and Patterson, walked Bautista, and Adam Lynn put one off the facing of the upper deck in right field.
Yeah, Bautista, no balls and 2 strikes, and I think just got a little bit too cautious in the first inning of a ball game. didn't throw him another strike, and then got behind Lind 2-0 and had to come in, or did come in, with a fastball. And Lind is swinging the bat pretty well right now. Good power hitter.
Alexi Ogando getting a lot of swings and misses. One strike away from strikeout number 5, and oh man, that banged right off Napoli's mask. That has got a deja at least for a moment or two. We'll watch this directly off the bat into the face of Mike Napoli. But he doesn't even need to take a moment. He's suddenly right back in there. And that pitch low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. The first inning looked like it was going to be a low stress, low pitch inning for Ogando, but he ended up having to throw 24. And this next pitch will be his 45th. And another strikeout. So that ties his career high. Again, noting the fact that he has only recently been a starter. He's gotten McCoy twice.
Well, just about a exact spot where he was trying to throw that fastball on the outside corner.
Now Corey Patterson, who struck out on 3 pitches his first time up.
Yeah, he swung at a couple of pitches way out of the strike zone, so he went up to the plate this time saying, I better take a pitch. And he takes a fastball right down the middle of the plate. That's kind of the way it goes sometimes. Throw a breaking ball down and in the dirt, he might swing at it.
No balls and 2 strikes. Corey Patterson, a Ranger killer these last couple of years. Remember the last game before the All-Star break last year, he hit a grand slam off Neftali Feliz, the last changeup that Feliz would throw for the rest of the year. And that completed a 4-game Baltimore sweep. Rangers had just gotten Cliff Lee. The last thing anybody expected was a slump going into the All-Star break. This series, he's got a 3-run home run and a couple of RBI base hits, but not able to catch up to that strike 3 from Ogando. 2 more strikeouts. He's now got 6. Looked like he tried to wait on it.
Sometimes a breaking ball like that, you call it a backup breaking ball. You see the spin, you anticipate it's going to break down and in, and it spins. It doesn't break. It just stays up and fools the hitter. If you could throw that pitch on purpose, it could be a pretty effective pitch every now and then.
Any pitch that gets this man out is an effective pitch. There seems to be no good way to attack him. Here's a pop-up out near the mound, and Chris Davis makes the call coming in from first. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings for Ogando. this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today and see every Rangers game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit TexasRangers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. The Rangers send the top of the order up against Brandon Morrow here in the bottom half of the third inning. Strike one to Ian Kinsler, who grounded to second his first trip. "36 pitches, 22 strikes so far for Morrow. Takes something off there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Just his second start, and his first start Sunday against Tampa Bay. Fairly typical for Toronto pitcher this year, as that drive in the right center field is in there after a long run by Patterson, and Bautista fires it back in to hold Ian Kinsler to a long single.
Yeah, the way Patterson was going after that ball, I thought he was going to catch it, but it must have just sliced away from him to where he never could get to it. Yeah, it didn't look like he was really sprinting after the ball as it came off the bat. Then right at the end, he made an effort to sprint after it and evidently must have misjudged it a little bit. Falls in for a base hit.
First time the Rangers get the leadoff man on in an inning. Here's Elvis, who singled his first time up. Stole second, scored the Ranger run on a single by Beltre. Double play depth to the infield, and expect tight tabs kept on Kinsler over at first base. Kinsler thinking maybe second base. Thought better of it when he saw Bautista prepared to fire it back into second. Morrow staying an eternity in the stretch, and finally time called at the plate by Elvis. It had to be a good 8-10 seconds without moving a muscle. This time a little bit quicker trigger, and he puts that one right under Andrus' chin. Whistled that at 90 miles an hour. Unfortunately for Elvis, not one of his mid to high 90s fastballs. Barely enough time to get out of the way. There goes Kinsler, and on a hit and run, it is grounded foul. Ian with a pretty good jump that time, it appeared. But it's 1-1.
Dave, on a more somber note, we'd like to pass on our condolences to the family and friends of Debbie Elam, who has been battling breast cancer for the last 4 years and recently passed away. Got a copy of her obituary. As usual, she was wearing a Ranger cap, big Ranger fan. Used to come to opening day, saw the playoff games last year and any other Ranger game she would get to. The Rangers lost a big fan when Debbie passed away, and our best wishes to her family.
The glacier-like flow to the third inning ground to a halt here by Morrow, and again over to first base. It almost gives you the impression that he is afraid to throw the ball, and the defense behind him always talks about how it's much more difficult for them to keep in the game. The pitcher's taking, this is easily 30 seconds between pitches here. There goes Ian again. A swing and a miss, and the throw by Molina gets away. Kinsler is safe with the Rangers' second stolen base of the day.
Yeah, he might be taking a little bit of time. He might be concentrating on the runner. You've got a guy that can steal a base, and so taking a little bit of time is somewhat justifiable. I do doubt that he's afraid to throw the ball, however.
I don't think so either.
When you strike out 11 guys per 9 innings, I don't think fear is entering into it.
I don't either. It just gives that impression. I don't for a minute think that that's actually what's going on. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Elvis, so a runner in scoring position for Andrus. And you see the success he has had there. That one sprayed foul. Morrow picking up pace a little bit here. We said shut down in the middle of March when he had tightness in his forearm. Last year, from July 17th on, Brandon Morrow was 5-0 with a .291 earned run average, and they shut him down for the year on September 3rd. Precautionary, just to limit the wear and tear on his arm. Second baseman McCoy. There's the first out, but a productive out for Andrus.
That's a really good at bat for Elvis. In that situation, nobody out. You'd love to move the runner to third base. You'd love to get a base hit to drive him in. And when you're facing a guy like Morrow with that kind of stuff, it's not easy to do. And he gets a pretty tough breaking ball down and away. In fact, a really good slider down and away. And was able to slap it towards second base and move that runner to third. And when you come back to the bench after accomplishing that, you get the same kind of reception as if you did get a base hit. Much appreciated.
John Farrell bringing the infield in for Michael Young. Kinsler at third, 1 out. He in the tying run. And Michael takes ball 1. Young a strikeout victim in the first. Four for 11 lifetime against Morrow. One of those hits a homer. Clark trying to go opposite field. Michael 4th in batting average, coming in at .347. No one has more hits than his total of 34 in the AL. And he has been tearing it up with runners in scoring position as well. Still looking for a home run, but the average, the production, both there. 2 balls and a strike. It's been 30 games, in fact, since Michael last went deep. Last September 25th in Oakland, where the Rangers are headed after this game. Way up high, taking something off. 3 balls and a strike. One more hit than Alex Gordon, having a career year, it would appear, after many injuries. One more than Ichiro. You know, you're doing something right there. And a familiar place for Michael, who for most of his career has been an automatic 200 hit man, just until the last couple of years. The 3-1 pitch in the air, right field. This will be deep enough as Bautista backs up and makes the catch. He's got a big arm, but Kinsler scores to tie the game at 2.
Well, that's a good baseball right there. Ian got the base hit. He stole second. Elvis moved him over. And you can see why it's such a valuable thing to move the runner from second to third with nobody out. Because then a routine fly ball can score a run. And in this case, it's the tying run. So good all-around teamwork right there to get that run.
Yeah, for Michael, his 16th RBI. He is 5 behind this man, Adrian Beltre, who singled in a run in the first. Adrian's 21st run batted in. And they appeal over at third base, where Rob Drake says, nope, Kinsler waited long enough. Odd thing about Adrian's first month as a Ranger is that he's not really taking advantage of the Rangers ballpark as much as he will, no doubt. Just a 200 average here. But he has shown some pop. 4 homers and has driven in 11. So Young and Beltre 3-4, doing everything possible to make up for the absence of Josh Hamilton. And the last couple of games, Nelson Cruz has been putting together some positive signs that he may join them. Huge cut in the miss as Beltre with his trademark knee to the ground follow through.
Yeah, a little extra on that swing. Watch as he swings, goes down, and turns all the way around and loses the bat out of his left hand. That would cause knee injury, back injury, neck injury. To some people taking that kind of a swing, me included.
For Adrian, it's just not getting cheated.
No, it's definitely not getting cheated. If that ball actually broke down into the strike zone, he probably would have creamed it. Just stayed up where he couldn't quite handle it.
Boy, this series, how much fun has it been to watch? Beltre and Bautista may have two of the hardest swings in baseball. Bouncing away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rangers, the top scoring team in the American League. Number 2 in team batting average. They're now 7th in earned run average as a team, a little over 4. First couple of weeks they were well below 3, so some returning to form was overdue. See if that one's placed well enough. It is. McDonald can't make the play as he flags it down behind second base. And Adrian Beltre is 2 for 2.
I think Adrian's one of those guys that has a few of those hits coming. Infield hits and bloopers. Early in the year, he was hitting the ball a little bit better than his average might have indicated. Hit some hard balls that were caught. That's a pretty tough pitch right there. Probably the exact pitch Morrow was trying to make, down right at the knees, outside corner. Adrian put the bat on it. McDonald was going to try to make a quick exchange and throw it. And that's the only chance he would have had.
And that would have been a slim chance.
Yeah, I don't think it was a very good chance.
So Nelson Cruz looks at strike 1. Well, he flied to right in a 1-pitch at bat to close out the first inning. But some signs that he's coming around. He's getting good wood going to center and right field. And there's strike 2.
Yeah, Nelly'd like to go back and start this at bat over and see the same 2 pitches, a hanging slider and a fastball right down the middle of the plate. That was 95 miles an hour, so it's not like it's a batting practice pitch.
Yeah, that fastball he took, he's been swinging and missing on a lot of balls that he would normally crush. Just a split second off in his timing. Thinks that's coming around, though.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. And pitchers who may get a scouting report, an advanced scouting report saying he's struggling to hit a fastball, are going to be in for a rude awakening when that does turn around. Because he doesn't have trouble when he's swinging the bat well hitting a fastball at all.
The 1-2 pitch. And can't catch up to that one at 94. But the Rangers in the 3rd inning tie the game. 2 hits, 1 left. After 3, it's 2-2. Toronto got off to a good start against Alexio Gondo as Adam Lynn powered a 2-run homer off the facing of the upper deck. Rangers would come back with a run in the first delivered by Beltre. Alexi Ogando with a career-high 6 strikeouts through 3 innings. And the Rangers in the bottom of the third, giving him a 2-2 tie. 6 strikeouts against a walk, only 2 hits. He has thrown 51 pitches. So the pitch count a little higher than one would hope, although he's brought it down the last couple after a 24-pitch first inning.
Yeah, and I think it'll be rare for him to have a first inning like that, where he's got that kind of stuff, that kind of command, gets 2 quick outs, and then has a 20-plus pitch inning. That inning just got away from him a little bit. I think because he was a little too cautious. When you've got the kind of stuff he has, you don't have to shy away from throwing a strike to anybody. Especially nobody on 2 outs first inning. Late in the ball game, a little different story. Game on the line.
2-1 to Lind. After that first inning home run, travel at estimated 411 feet. Looked as if Toronto might become a team that could seriously get some damage in the early going against Ogando, but he has really shut things down since then. The batter after the home run was Rivera, who singled, and since then he's sat down the last 7 in order. 2-2 pitch here and a call, strike 3.
You can see the difference, that at bat and the bat before it. When Lind had the 2-0 count and the fastball came in on the inner half of the plate, the result was a 400-foot home run. When the count's a little bit different and the location of the fastball is a little different, then it's no contest.
That is painting. And strikeout number 7, 1 gone in the 4th. And now Juan Rivera. He foul tips the first pitch.
I think this is, as far as effective goes, the best fastball Ogando's had as far as getting swings and misses. He really hasn't been a strikeout pitcher in his first 4 games. 14 strikeouts in 25 innings. It's been a lot of weak contact, and he's been dominating at times. But today he's throwing the fastball consistently by the Blue Jay hitters.
And really, the only team that has done anything against his fastballs was the Yankees. They had a good home run night on Sunday Night Baseball. And they were hitting 95, 96 mile an hour heaters that were elevated for the most part. Ogando not able to keep it as far down in the zone as you need to against a lineup like the Yankees. Not a problem so far for him today. 2-2 to Rivera. Juan Rivera, of course, came at a pretty high price to Toronto. Vernon Wells becoming an Angel. And Mike Napoli, of course, also involved, was for a few days a Blue Jay before John Daniels brought him here to Texas. That has worked out superbly for the Rangers. Wells' start has been the slowest of his career, though he's started to show some signs of coming out of it when the Angels were through. And Rivera doing the same here. And that one just misses for ball 4. Just the second walk for Alexi. And Encarnacion will step up with 1 on and 1 out. And this week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Torrey Hunter leads the Angels into Tampa to take on the Rays, or the Cardinals head to Atlanta to meet the Braves. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at a special time of 11:30 a.m. Central, beginning with This Week in Baseball. Check your local listings for the game and start time in your area. Encarnacion looks at ball 1. That one fly to center his first time up. Encarnacion mending, missed 4 games before returning last night with soreness in his left wrist. Blue Jays have had a few key injuries early. Longtime Ranger nemesis Rajai Davis remains on the DL with a sprained right ankle. He was eligible to come off yesterday, but continues to rehab at AA New Hampshire. That's in there for a strike at the knees.
Yeah, normally you'd say Rangers got a break when Rajai Davis wasn't able to play, but then Corey Patterson gets some starts in his place and steps up and gets some big hits, including that 3-run homer.
Aaron Hill also on the DL with a strained right hamstring. Rangers haven't had to deal with him. And by the luck of the draw, they missed having to face Ricky Romero. This 4-game series, Romero was the only member of the rotation who didn't come up. So they will have him set to go when they open the series at Yankee Stadium tomorrow night against Freddie Garcia. The Rangers fly west after this game and will take on the Oakland A's with C.J. Wilson against Trevor Cahill. That's a 9 o'clock telecast tomorrow on TX 821 in the Metroplex. Might be playable for Kinsler. It is. A couple of steps into foul ground. He's got out number 2. Does it look as if the sun has bothered any of the outfielders, or in this case an infielder chasing down a high pop fly?
No, the sun probably around late in the afternoon might be a problem for the left fielder. See that in the summertime in the first inning or first inning and a half sometimes as the sun sets behind the right field seats, it gets in the eyes of the left fielder. But occasionally early in the day like this, you might see some problems with infielders looking straight up at it when the sun's high in the sky.
Travis Snyder, who struck out his first time up, loops that one into left field, just dumped it in front of Cruz. And on to second base is Rivera. So Toronto gets his first hit since the first inning. And with 2 outs, Jose Molina will step up with a chance to break this 2-2 tie.
Slices a little blooper over shortstop.
Little inside out swing, trying to do too much with that pitch. And it ended up he did plenty, kept the inning alive. Molina started the day at .313. Struck out his first time up. A homer, 3 runs batted in. And a big cut and a miss. Well, that reading was 40 miles an hour.
It's hard to throw a ball from the pitcher's mound to home plate and get it all the way there and not have it go 40 miles an hour.
So just in general, pitches are somewhere in the range between 40 and 200.
That would be a pretty good repertoire. I would venture a guess that you might never give up a hit if you could throw it between 40 and 200. But you could never find someone to catch you either.
Well, a threat, but Ogando works through it, and it's still 2-2. In the fourth inning for the Rangers, tied at 2. And it is time we ask our AT&T trivia question. Who holds the Major League record for the most runs batted in April? I bet this is an obscure name. It's not anyone that you would expect. I have no idea what the answer is, but usually with a question like that, there's a little twist. An answer that you wouldn't normally.
Well, for your sake, I hope it's not Babe Ruth then.
Yeah, that's obviously a name that would pop into mind. Willie Mays, perhaps. Maybe a Hank Aaron. We'll see.
I don't know if you were watching the scoreboard between innings. Chuck Morgan was putting up some tweets of excuses people have used to go to opening day. They're pretty clever. One kid wrote, "I told my teacher I was throwing out the first pitch." That would be a little easy to check on right there.
You'd have to bring a note from Ron Washington, I think.
Yeah.
For that to be legit. Moreland, down no balls and 2 strikes. He struck out his first time up. Morrow bringing it at 94. We're having fun with some of the readings out there, as low as 40, as high as 200. And the 200 reading put me in mind of the great George Plimpton and the story he wrote for Sports Illustrated some years back. We should have known it was the April 1st edition of that Sports Illustrated. And it was all about a player he had discovered named Sid Finch, who had somehow mastered pitching mechanics to the point that he was throwing, I think it was like 140 miles an hour.
Didn't he throw like barefooted too?
Yeah. It was a completely made up character, but if you're a writer as good as George Plimpton, you actually can get people to buy it.
I was falling for it. I didn't like totally fall for it, but I think I was falling for it because I wanted to believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted there to be a Sid Finch. I wanted to see him, see if he could get people out in the big leagues.
And the only clue was that April 1st date on the cover. You know, Aroldis Chapman is pretty close to Sid Finch.
Yeah.
Throwing 106 already.
That's not quite as bad as when Orson Welles told people that we were being invaded. Was that April? Was that an April 1st joke, or was that something else? Halloween, maybe.
I think that was Halloween. Yeah, War of the Worlds. Yeah, the Martians are here. That was
so I guess
his story.
If people could fall for the Martians, they could certainly fall for a 140-mile-an-hour fastball. Although I guess if you've been in baseball your whole life, you think you got a better chance of seeing Martians than you do a 140-mile-an-hour fastball.
Moreland working the count full. Breaks his bat under the glove of Morrow. And no play at first base.
Well, Blue Jays have had 4 or 5 of those this series. About time the Rangers got one, and nice to get it to lead off an inning.
You think of Mitch Moreland and driving the ball for extra bases. Sometimes that approach will work as well.
Morrow slapped his glove. He's upset that he missed that. It wasn't very hard hit, and he kind of flinched on it, just snuck right underneath his glove.
Rangers get the leadoff man on for the second straight inning. Napoli struck out his first time up. Double play depth to the infield. And Morrow being charged with an error on that play. First error of the game. Chop just foul.
I tend to give a hit on that only because if you're the pitcher, after you let go of the ball, you're about probably 50 or 55 feet away from home plate. You're following through, you're off balance, and you have to be aware, at least subconsciously, of balls being hit hard back through the middle. And then when it comes back a little softer like that, I think he flinched on it a little bit, and it snuck underneath his glove. And not that it was a hard play, and he probably should have made the play. And it's hard to argue with an error, but I guess I tend to give the benefit to the hitter and benefit to the pitcher because it's such a dangerous position to try to field.
0-2 to Napoli. Chris Davis on deck. 2 runs, 3 hits, now 1 error. 3 left for the Blue Jays. For the Rangers, 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and they have left 3. Rangers trying to salvage a split of this 4-game series. First look of the year at the Blue Jays. That one pretty close. It's 1-2. Toronto comes back here the weekend of July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And the Rangers visit Toronto 1 week later, July 29 through 31. Lifted to center field, but Corey Patterson just a couple of steps over toward right center. And there's the first out. And let's check in again with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, a busy day for the MLB authenticator. He's already got 2 broken bats, and usually whenever they break a bat, when one of the guys breaks a bat, they'll take it, authenticate it. Yeah, hold it up for us. There we go. Yeah, he's going to stand up and model it for us. They usually authenticate him and then send him back to the pro shop. But right now, Major League Baseball is doing a study, so they're gathering bats, and all of the bats broken over the last couple of weeks will be sent to New York. They'll do a study to see which wooden bats break more, which brands, different things like that. So 4 broken bats last night, already 2 here today.
Interesting.
Now, where do you stand on the danger of some of the bats that are so easily broken?
Yeah, I go back to 20, 30, 40 years ago when you didn't see that happen. And I think there's a lot of reasons for it. I don't know that there's any one reason. I think one of the reasons is that the kids grow up using aluminum bats, and you can use a thin handle bat with a big barrel that doesn't weigh very much. And when you get into pro ball and you want a similar kind of bat, you like a thin handle bat with a little bit of mass at the end. And just the fact that the bat is built like that, I think, makes it a little more susceptible to breaking. Then you combine that with the strength of the hitters, the torque that they get in their swing. We saw Jim Rice break a bat on a check swing one day. And I'd heard that that's happened before, and I didn't really believe it. And then one day in Boston, saw him check his swing and break a bat, which is mind-boggling to me.
So you actually witnessed that?
Yeah, we were in Boston when that happened. I also saw Bo Jackson break a bat over his head. When the guys will take one and break it over their leg. He put it on top of his helmet and broke a bat. And I think the bats, all over, maybe consistently, bats were maybe an ounce heavier 40 years ago. I think the guys like a lighter bat now. So maybe the combination of the thin handle, a lighter bat, the strength of the players, maybe the power of the pitchers has something to do with that. But it's definitely dangerous. I don't know. I wouldn't even have an opinion on the maker of the bat, the quality of the wood, what the bat is made out of. I don't really have much to say about that. I don't know.
Davis skies over to left field. Travis Snyder has out number 2. Let's check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, check out the Justin boots here. Customized Justin boots handed out to Nolan Ryan and Juan Washington before the game. Randy Watson and Jamie Morgan of Justin boots here presented to Nolan and Ron before the game. What did Nolan say?
Nolan was real excited. Nolan and Justin go back many, many years. So he's a big Justin boot wearer, and he's pretty excited about getting these.
And how long did it take for these customized boots to be made?
Well, just the inlay alone in the top was over 45 hours of hand cutting and hand stitching. So it's a pretty incredible boot.
And Jamie, Ron's response?
He was pretty excited. I asked him, I said, so are you going to just put them on the shelf? You going to wear them? He goes, he said, make no mistake, I'm going to put my pants leg inside of them and wear them.
And you guys, I understand, wanted them to take the lineup card out in the boots, right?
Absolutely. When we did these for Houston, the Astros, Garner, he wore them out and did the lineup in his.
Awesome. Well, they look great, guys, and good seeing you.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it.
Julio Bourbon with a pop-up foul territory, and pretty good effort there by McCoy, who runs into the wall.
Yeah, that's not a fun wall to run into. That's cement. And there's not much padding on it, so you have to be careful when you go near that wall. I can remember, I don't know if it was Justin, but in 1972, all the Ranger players, coaches, manager were given a pair of blue cowboy boots. And Ted Williams was given a pair of blue boots that had baseball spikes on the bottom of them.
Young fan reaching over there. That's the second time in this series we've seen a Bartman-like result to a foul pop. This case, he helped the Rangers cause.
Yeah, we would urge all our fans, if the ball is in the stands, not out on the playing field, do whatever you can to make sure the visiting player can't catch the ball. You can reach up and grab his glove if you want. I wouldn't recommend that, but definitely try to catch it. If the Ranger player comes over, just get out of the way and see if he can catch it.
Yeah, only go for the glove if you don't care if you get an arm back or not. But a fan in the other stands behind third base earlier this series looked like he kept Adrian Beltre from making a catch. It would have been very difficult, but I think he would have at least been able to reach and have it in his glove.
I thought so too.
0-2 count. For Bone stays alive.
Well, if anything, this inning they've prolonged the pitch count, extended the pitch count. 78. This would be 79 pitches. Morrow's about 20 pitches an inning. Ogando's more somewhere around 17 pitches an inning.
And again, Morrow has brought this game to a screeching halt with a man on. Call strike 3. So the Rangers unable to capitalize on the error by Moreland, by Morrow on the grounder by Moreland, and we go to the 5th inning still tied up 2-2. And we answer our AT&T trivia question. Who holds the Major League record for the most runs batted in April? Juan Gonzalez, who drove in his 35th RBI of April 1998 on this day in 1998. That year, as I recall, Juan had 100 runs batted in going into the All-Star break.
Right. So I had 2 or 3 years where I wish I had 35 RBIs.
We welcome Steve Busby. And Buzz, your impression, first of all, this pitcher's duel.
Pretty good right-handers going, Dave. You have to be impressive. Both these guys throw hard. They have good, tight breaking balls. And on a day like this, I would think it's pretty difficult to pick up the spin with all the glare in the ballpark. Spin on that tight breaking ball. And you're seeing some guys have some pretty feeble swings.
Buzz, when everybody knows about Kyle Drabek, he's one of the best young prospects in the game. Brandon Morrow started last year, had a game where he struck out 17. I think people around baseball regard these two guys as top of the rotation potential. How would you compare Ogando, who people didn't know much about, to those two guys?
Stuff is every bit as good, if not in some cases better. I think he has better stuff right now than what I saw out of Kyle Drabek the other night. Just natural stuff. Now, what he does with it, I think Drabek pitches a little bit more effectively right now than Alexi does as a starter.
Right.
And I think Ogando kind of got held back in his development a bit by being a reliever. You have to do things differently.
Cruz comes in to make the catch and
So then
retire
it's
John
not.
Ogando.
It wouldn't be a reach if someone said they thought Ogando could be a top of the rotation starter.
It wouldn't be for me. I think it's there. I think in the first 5 starts, he's shown the ability to throw 3 different pitches with command in the strike zone.
Absolutely.
And I don't think there's any question about his endurance. He's stretched out to, 115 pitches last time?
But he's answered the questions, hasn't he?
I think for me he has, yeah.
Back to the top of the order, and McCoy will be retired 3 unassisted. Buzz, I don't know if you hear, or Tom, you hear some of the things that I still hear from fans, and they look at the bullpen issues right now, and some of them say, oh, well, you got to get Ogando back into the bullpen. I mean, that ship has sailed, hasn't it?
I don't know that it's sailed. When we get to July, and if you have a couple of good viable options, let's say Brandon Webb comes back and throws the ball real well starting the month of July, and he shows himself ready to pick things up, and Tommy Hunter or somebody else catches fire, and you have 6 viable candidates for the starting rotation with Alexi in there, and the bullpen is still a problem. And by that, I mean, Lord forbid, Neftali's injury a little bit longer lasting than you think, or who knows what else can happen. But if it were the same as it is right now, the bullpen situation, I think you'd have to think seriously about putting Ogando back in the middle of July, if this were the middle of July, for going down the stretch. Now, I don't think that portends for next year about his ability to start. I think he's a viable starter.
A 1-2-3 5th inning for Ogando. We'll continue our conversation with Buzz as we head to the bottom of the 5th in a 2-2 game. Find your favorite seats through the Rangers. Head to StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Texas Rangers, where you'll find a great selection of seats for every game. 2-2, and at the bottom of the 5th, the top of the order against Brandon Morrow, Kinsler, Andrews, and Young. We continue with Steve Busby joining us here in the booth. He had 1 for 2. And has scored, and he goes right after the first pitch, and that one is off the wall. Snyder fires it back in, and Ian Kinsler has a leadoff double.
Well, he had the trajectory you need for a home run, but it might have caught him off the bat a little bit away from the sweet spot of the bat. Might have got in on him just enough to keep it in the ballpark. Morrow was a little bit concerned about it when he saw the ball come off the bat.
Ian Kinsler safe at second, safe and secure. New York life.
Rangers now, the same situation they were in the third inning. After Ian stole second, man on second, nobody out. Elvis moved him over to third base with a ground ball. We're in the same situation right now.
Elvis scored the first Ranger run after singling and stealing second in the first inning. Beltre singled him home. And with the corners charging, that one misses up high. Buzz, we're talking about the Rangers pitching situation. Some holes now starting to appear because of injury. Darren O'Day on the 60-day DL facing hip surgery. In fact, may be still in surgery as we speak, fixing a tear in his labrum in his left hip. Let me get your thoughts about what Cody Epley has done in his first two major league outings.
Well, I've really enjoyed watching him throw. I know he said he was nervous, and he should have been in his major league debut, but he sure didn't show any outward signs of it. He got down to work. He has a reputation of throwing strikes, great movement on the sinker and the breaking ball, and halfway decent changeup. I like what I've seen so far. 4 innings, just 1 hit or 1 run, and not bad. Ball in the strike zone, moving all over the place.
A bluff at second, a throw back behind him, and Kinsler is out. Jose Molina saw Ian take an extra step or two toward third, and he makes him pay.
Like what the second base umpire is saying is the infielder blocked his path back to second base. Let's take a look. Yeah, you see the foot down in front of the bag, which if the guy goes in head first, you've got a pretty good block. But if he goes in feet first, then you got a pretty good chance of getting hurt. But I think most times on that kind of a play, the runner goes in head first. Good play, actually, by McDonald.
So the leadoff double erased. 3 balls and a strike to Elvis Andrus.
Well, Ian got a big secondary lead. He took a hop off, planted his foot to get back, but by the time he did, there was a lot of distance between him and second base, and then good throw and a nice play by McDonald.
Well, I just don't like that play with nobody on first base. If it's first and second, you're trying to get a good jump to beat a potential force at third. That's one thing. But with nobody there to set up a force play, a secondary lead has got to be a cautious one, just to give you enough to get to second or get to third on a halfway decent jump. And I think that's a spot where you can't get picked off by the catcher.
No, not this stage of the game.
Elvis goes down the right field line, and a running catch by Bautista.
Good defensive positioning right there, shading him over toward the line.
Now watch right there.
That's his secondary lead, which got him pretty far off the bag, opened up the daylight, and you can't tell if Ian's foot is on the whether his hand is on the base or not. Neither could the umpire, but he saw the leg in front of the base and assumed that second base was blocked.
Michael Young takes ball 1. Young today a strikeout and a sacrifice fly. That in the third made it 2-2, and we're still there. Morrow up to 87 pitches, 54 strikes. Young under that one just a little bit too much, and an easy play for Bautista. Rangers get nothing out of the 5th. We get a lot, as always, out of our conversation with Steve Busby.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
We'll look for you after the game. the final game of this 4-game series, and for the Rangers, the final of their 10-game homestand. Dave Barnett along with Tom Grieve. Alexi Ogando threw only 7 pitches to retire the Jays in order in the 5th. He needed a quick pitch count like that. He's now at 78 pitches as his first pitch to Bautista. This is away. Jose today 0 for 1. He walked in the first, was wild pitched to second, and then scored on the massive home run by Adam Lind off the facing of the upper deck and right.
Well, the last 2 pitches look pretty good. Didn't get the call on him. He's a pretty good hitter, but he's not Babe Ruth. One of those has got to be a strike.
Instead, it's 2-0. Bautista, if you compare him to just a couple of years ago, 13 home runs in the 09 season, up to 54 last year. 40 runs batted in 09. More than tripled that to 124 in 2010. And if you add up all the changes he's made, he's really pretty much made over his entire swing. Their hitting coach Dwayne Murphy, former manager Cito Gaston working with him. Murphy felt he needed a timing mechanism to trigger his swing. And he usually hits everything that's fair right on the nose, as he does here. A leadoff single. Let's check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, a lot of these fans really happy to be at the game because they got to arrive in style here at Rangers Ballpark. It's the Fox Sports Southwest Ranger Fan Express rolling in. You know, this is new this year. They're going to go to various towns around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, pick up Ranger fans, and bring them to the game. And Will, you got to ride on the bus. What was it like, bud?
Oh, it was fantastic. We've had ticket checks. It was luxury. We got to watch It's Time. It was awesome.
There you go. Love the ticket. Love the Ranger bus. Fox Sports Southwest Ranger Fan Express. Looking for it around in your area.
Yeah.
Is that CeeLo Green? Who? You have no. I knew you were going to say who. It's on the top of the charts. Come on, Tom.
Top of what? Top of what charts?
That would be the musical charts. What you used to call top 40.
Ah, okay.
Maybe they were separated at birth.
I don't know much about CeeLo.
2-0 to Adam Lind with Bautista at first. Rangers have out-hit Toronto 5-4. Last night, the Rangers with only 6 base hits won 7-6. They were out-hit 14-6. Talk about making them count. Could be 2. Kinsler goes to 1 after thinking he would get the tag on Bautista. Never looked to make the throw to second base. And now Rangers wondering if perhaps Bautista went out of the line, but there's no indication from the second base umpire, Paul Limmel.
That should have been a double play. I think Ian had a choice to make. When you've got Lind running, you've got plenty of time to throw it to second and back to first. But Ian, I think, thought that he was going to have an easy time tagging Bautista, who stopped and went around him. And that's pretty close to being out of the baseline. You can go 3 feet out of the normal line that you've established between yourself and the base. And that was testing that 3 feet. Instead of a double play, it basically turns into a sacrifice.
Yeah, if he just tosses it to second, it is going to be an easy 4-6-3. Instead, 1 out, Bautista in scoring position. Rivera, who today has singled and walked. And barely back in, safe is Bautista.
I think when you consider the runner, batter, who is Lind, and how far Bautista was from second base, there's no way he was going to be able to break up that double play. Elvis would have had a clear throw to first. And there's no way Lind was going to beat it out either. I think Ian just thought it was going to be easier to tag the runner, and Bautista sidestepped him.
Boy, in a play like that, in a game like this, even though we're just in the 6th inning, Toronto takes advantage of this extra opportunity. That may be all they need.
Yeah, the other thing is, you get that one pitch and 2 outs. It does amazing things for your pitch count too.
And that pitch count is now at 87 for Ogando. Only one of those he would like to have back, and that was the Lind home run in the first inning. That is still the only Toronto scoring this afternoon. The 2-0 pitch in there with a breaking ball.
The other thing that Ian could have done in the heat of battle, it's hard to make that determination, but once he missed Bautista, he could have still thrown to second and got the lead runner. There's some choices to be made there. And I think what happened to Ian was he thought he was going to have an easy tag of Bautista and then just throw to first base, but Bautista used some agility to get out of the way and kind of foiled that idea. And most of the times the second baseman would be able to tag the runner like that.
Well, no doubt all that running through Ian Kinsler's mind right now, hoping that Ogando can pick him up here. Keep this a tie game. We'll look back and a 3-1 pitch outside. Rivera walks for the second straight time. And with 1 out, now 2 men on. And Mike Maddox will come out for a visit as Edwin Encarnacion, 0 for 2, will be the next hitter. Ogando at 90 pitches. 2 runs on only 4 hits. And only a couple of walks against 7 strikeouts. Well, it's a new season for your lawn. Visit your local Lowe's for savings and a free MLB fan guide. Compliments of Scott's. Mike Maddox will be told to wrap up his comments by Gary Darling. And again, the Rangers will be looking for a double play ball here. Encarnacion, however, has lifted it twice, fly to center, and hit a pop foul caught by Kinsler. Key moment of the game here as we play in the top half of the 6th inning. And that one chopped foul. Encarnacion this year has grounded into 2 double plays. This is his 16th game and his 65th at bat. Former Cincinnati Red from 05 to 09. Blue Jays got him at the trading deadline that year in the Scott Rowland trade. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Encarnacion actually drafted by the Rangers, 9th round 2000. Drafted out of high school in Puerto Rico. And then sent him to Cincinnati, the Ruben Mateo trade. A pop-up might be playable for Beltre. It will be. Plenty of room in the third base coach's box, and there is a huge second out of the inning. As Encarnacion fouls out for the 2nd straight time. And now Ogando against Travis Snyder.
I think that was one of those sliders that backed up. It stayed inside. Trying to throw that ball down and away. Instead it stayed up and in, but turned out to be an effective pitch. All Encarnacion could do was pop it up.
Beltre with the shades, but also you saw him shielding the sun with his glove. Absolutely sure he wasn't going to lose that one. 1 extra out is plenty for this inning. Snyder goes after the first pitch. He has struck out and singled.
I think Ogando's demonstrating one of the questions that people might have had. Can he maintain his stuff throughout 100 pitches? And his last pitch was 94 miles an hour. So he's still got the velocity he had early in the game.
94 miles an hour on his 94th pitch of the day.
Yep, trying to pitch out of a jam right here.
Runner's bluff. Napoli keeps that one in front of him, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
I would say in this situation, if Bautista wants to go ahead and steal third base, go for it. A left-hand hitter up there. You got an easy shot for the catcher. 2 outs.
Rangers get Cody Epley warming.
26 pitches in his 2 innings yesterday. No problem coming back on back-to-back days with that kind of a pitch count.
Epley came in the 6th inning last night, replacing Derek Holland. And in 2 innings allowed only a home run in the 7th by Juan Rivera and got the win. Aaron Oliver picking up his 2nd save. To right field, Moreland. And what a job by Alexi Ogando working around the mental error by Ian Kinsler. It is still a 2-2 tie. Inning brought to you by Sonic. Today's jackpot worth $600 and dinner for 2 at a Sonic drive-in. And today the Rangers are hitting for John Edwards from Heartland, Texas. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, John Edwards from Heartland will win $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. In the bottom of the 6th, Beltre, Cruz, and Moreland. Brandon Morrow threw 5 innings, 2 runs on 5 base hits. Rangers scored in the 1st. Andrews singled with 1 out, stole 2nd. 2 batters later, Beltre singled him home, his 21st run batted in, leading the American League. In the 3rd, Kinsler led with a single, stole 2nd. 2 batters later, scored on a sacrifice fly by Michael Young. Last 2 innings, Rangers had chances. Moreland reached leading off the 4th on an error by Morrow. 2 flyouts and a strikeout. Kinsler double leading off the 5th and was picked off 2nd by the catcher Molina. And Beltre again corkscrewing himself into the dirt. The 89th pitch of the day for Morrow. Our first pitch, temperature was 73 degrees. It is still 73 degrees. So what would normally become at some point an issue of dealing with the Texas heat, absolutely not. You simply will never get better conditions for day baseball here or anywhere else for that matter.
Yeah, in addition to the temperature, there's no wind. That's almost unheard of.
No balls and 2 strikes for Adrian. Opposite field, hit well. Bautista gets there in the gap and runs it down.
Pretty good distance for where that pitch was. Adrian had to reach for a pitch down and away. Good pitcher's pitch. Almost drove it into the gap for an extra base hit.
Now Nelson Cruz, who was 0 for 2. A fly ball to right field and a strikeout. Cruz now 1 for 12 lifetime against Morrow. Morrow at 5 1/3 innings. That's exactly how far he went in his other start this year. That was on Sunday against Tampa Bay. Allowed only 3 hits and struck out 10 in that game. Still got the hard luck loss.
That's a pitch. When Nelly gets hot, that pitch is going about 430 feet. 91-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle of the plate. The timing's off just a tick to where he's not really connecting on that pitch, but it's just a matter of time.
And again, yeah, you're just not used to seeing him miss on those. And it's really got to be tough for Nelly to watch himself on video and see where pitchers are getting away with really challenging him.
The best way to say it is enjoy it while you can. There's no way that's a strike. The catcher caught that ball and actually brought it back toward the strike zone. Either that or he was in the strike zone with his glove. Watch the catcher's glove. He catches it and watch him bring it back to the plate. It's close, and it's one of those that could go either way. I don't know how many times that pitch has been called a strike today. I don't remember Ogando getting that pitch frequently. But to me, the dead giveaway is when you see the catcher catch the ball and then bring his glove back toward the plate. That pretty much tells you he didn't think it was a strike.
Well, Molina got away with it this time. 6th strikeout. And here's Moreland, who struck out his first time up and then reached on the what was ruled an error on Morrow, a little dribbler that went right under his glove. Base runners, precious commodities today. There have been few and far between. Morrow has only had 1 inning where he faced the minimum 3, and that was in the 5th inning that began with the double by Kinsler. Picked off second by the catcher Molina. 2 fly balls to right field. Trouble was averted. And Moreland just missing that one. No balls and 2 strikes. As we said last night, the Rangers won despite being out hit 14-6. They had lost 61 straight games in which they had been out hit by at least 8. Stretch going back to July of 2004 against the Blue Jays right here at the ballpark. Moreland watching that one bounce in for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Next pitch will be his 100th. In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brandon Morrow, 5th overall pick in the 06 draft by the Mariners out of Cal Berkeley. He was in the majors the very next year. Moreland stays alive again. You really have to give Bruce Walton, their pitching coach, an awful lot of credit, Tom, I think, because he has so refined his natural skills, adding the changeup, getting the consistent 3/4 arm slot, that turn in the middle of his windup. Moreland spanks a single to right field. He's aboard with 2 out.
A lot of good rips for Mitch in that at bat. He fouled most of them off and got an off-speed pitch and had a good swing at it. Yeah, I agree with you, Dave, because I think essentially Seattle came to the point where they didn't think he was going to be an effective big league pitcher for him. Otherwise, I don't think they would have traded him for a setup reliever. And so he got over here. Number one, they settled him as far as whether you're going to be a starter or a reliever. You're a starter. And then they helped him mechanically. And he's on his way to being a really good starting pitcher now. And somewhere down the road, there's a good chance Seattle's going to regret that trade.
Well, looks pretty clear now that he's not a closer, and that's the role they tried him in a couple of years ago.
And the other thing is it's unusual and unlikely that a pitcher is going to throw 12 minor league innings and go right straight from college and become a closer. I mean, it may have happened before, but it's very rare. You're asking a lot for a young pitcher. Doesn't have command yet to go in and succeed as a closer under those circumstances.
Morrow not paying a whole lot of attention to first base. He blows that one past Napoli at 95 miles an hour.
Well, just like Ogando maintained his stuff all the way through, right at 100 pitches, close to 100 pitches. Morrow's right there himself. It's been a nice pitcher's duel to watch between two right-handed starters with great stuff.
Cody Epley's been up quite a while in the Ranger bullpen, now standing and watching as Napoli takes high and tight, 2 balls and a strike.
Morrow had some press clippings coming into the game. Ogando's still building his up, but he's matched Morrow pitch for pitch today.
Two and two. Taking a little something off that time at 86.
Looking like a slider.
Napoli 11 runs batted in, 5 home runs. Yep. To contribute to this game offensively. Broken bat pop up. And trouble from McCoy. Finally, he locates it, makes the over-the-shoulder catch. And the Rangers are done in the 6th inning. They get a 2-out single by Moreland, 1 left. We go to the 7th, still 2-2. Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Rangers ballpark in Arlington. A 2-2 ball game as we go to the 7th inning, and Alexi Ogando's afternoon is done. He goes 6 innings, 2 runs, both earned on 4 hits. He struck out a career high 7 and walked 3. And Cody Epley, the Ranger, just a few days, called up from Round Rock. A 25-year-old side armor from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, a 43rd round draft pick out of Virginia Commonwealth in 2008. And his first couple of major league outings, he has been very impressive. Last night, he got the win because he allowed a home run to Juan Rivera in the 7th inning, preventing Derek Holland from getting the victory. 2 innings, and that was the only hit he allowed. And his major league debut 5 days ago against Kansas City, went 2 innings in that game, no runs on 2 hits, and struck out a batter. That just a matter of hours after he found out he was going to become a Texas Ranger. Strike 1 to Jose Molina. Our Verizon Wireless call to the bullpen. You see the numbers in the first 2 major league outings for Epley. 6.5, 205. No balls and 2 strikes. Epley last year, Tom, the Rangers' first ever minor league reliever of the year, as he moved very quickly through the system.
Well, and most years, when a young guy gets called up from the minor leagues, the manager has the luxury to ease him in to the bullpen rotation, usually in comfortable situations. But now, the way the bullpen is made up, with the injuries the bullpen's had, Ron doesn't have that luxury. The guys that have been called up are going to be called on to produce in key situations, that as you see Epley in right now, as you saw him in yesterday.
Oh, boy, 1-2 pitch, and he hits Molina.
Pedro Strop is warming up now. He'll be in the same situation. Most of the save situations will go to Oliver and Rhodes, but after that you've got Tomko, Tucker, Epley, and Strop, along with Dave Bush, who's more of a long man, and those guys from the right side are going to be called on to produce in key situations. A bunt situation right here, you would think. Beltre thinks so anyway.
John McDonald, the batter. He has not sacrificed yet this year. Today he has twice flied out to left field. Bunting here, and he bunts through it. Throw back down to first, very close to getting Molina.
And you see that, we saw it with Ian at second base. You'll see that occasionally at first base, with a runner wanting to get a good jump. When the bunt is laid down, gets off a little bit too far, it's either not bunted at or you bunt through it. You're a little far off the base and susceptible to a throw down there.
Beltre at third, creeping in on the grass. This is laid down nicely. Napoli going to second base to get the lead man, Molina.
That's a nice play by Napoli. You have to know the speed of the runners. And in that particular case, you've got the catcher, Jose Molina, who's not a fast runner. That's why he almost got picked off first base, because he knows to get a jump, he's got to get a little farther off first base to have a chance to beat the throw. This is a pretty good sacrifice bunt, but it's a nice play by Napoli to get the lead runner.
Yeah, Jose Molina, no Benji. He's, I guess, the fast Molina brother. That's not ever faint praise. But Napoli, knowing exactly who he was dealing with, and figured correctly he would have time to get the lead man. So McDonald on the fielder's choice at first, but with 1 out now, Rangers look for a double play off the bat of Mike McCoy. McCoy today has struck out twice and grounded to first. First run batted in of his season came last night in the 4th inning. This just his 12th game. In his 3rd stint with the Blue Jays this year already. Back and forth, called up from Las Vegas last Saturday. Aaron Hill still on the mend. So the need was there. And Epley starts him with the strike. The thing that Ron Washington talked about when describing Epley is, I think, the best way to make a good impression on Wash, and that is to show no fear. Wash says he went out, he put his hand on his shoulder, he didn't feel any nervous energy, any tension in his body, and the performance bore that out. And Tom, that seems like something you either have, you're born with it, or you don't.
You know, I think, yeah, fear is a tough word, and I guess it's used a little bit. Nerves, I think, enter into it, but what is a kid supposed to feel when he's first called up to the big leagues? I think it's how you control your nerves that determines whether or not you'll be successful. And I think if you talk to Cody, you'd say, yeah, inside I was nervous. He should be. But he was able to take a deep breath and get the job done in spite of those nerves. So it's how you control them. Having them, I don't think there's much you can do about it, but controlling them is a different thing, and I guess that determines your success or not.
Strike 3, and almost to strike him out, pick him off, double play. For McCoy, his 3rd strikeout.
And one of the measures that I think we all use when you talk about a pitcher trying to control his emotions is what kind of command does he have with his pitches? What's his control like? And I guess there's times where you can be as calm as can be and not be able to throw a strike.
Well, Epley has worked to 3 batters here in the 7th inning. Pedro Strop is warm, and Ron Washington will make another move. Epley hits the first batter, Molina. But McDonald bunts into a fielder's choice. Napoli erasing Molina at second. McCoy with the strikeout, and it'll be Strop against Corey Patterson when we return. Mike Napoli scrambling out to throw Jose Molina out at second base on the bunt, erasing the lead runner of today's great hands play. One of 2 outs recorded by Cody Epley. And Ron Washington now going to Pedro Strop in the matchup with Corey Patterson. They have never faced each other. Patterson today has struck out twice and grounded to first.
And I think what Ron is saying right here, he likes the matchup with a power pitcher, a splitter against the left-hand hitter more than the 3/4 to sidearm delivery of Cody Epley against the left-hander. Feels that Strop's stuff is better suited to get Patterson right here.
For Pedro, this is his 9th outing. He's got a 142 earned run average, no wins or losses. In 6 1/3 innings, he has allowed only 2 base hits, 1 run. He has walked 6 and struck out 8. The average against him is an even 100. Check swing down at third. Rob Drake says Patterson held up.
He started, was able to hold up. Ogando was able to get Patterson to swing at pitches out of the strike zone, and he almost swung at that. In fact, looking at the slow motion replay, you will see that called a strike occasionally. And right here is not the situation where you want to walk Patterson. Patterson's having a pretty good series, but you don't necessarily want to face Bautista with 2 men on. Game on the line late in the game.
Well, that is the very dish of worst case scenario. And he walks Patterson on 4 pitches. So here is where you want no part of Bautista. Game on the line, late innings.
Well, that's frustrating for a manager because he wants to have confidence in Strop, and when the bullpen is intact, he doesn't have to bring him into this situation. He can ease him into it. Now there's no choice. You have to bring Strop in, but Strop has to throw strikes to build up the confidence in his manager. Right now the manager doesn't have an alternative down there. There's no O'Day, there's no Felice. And so it's on-the-job training in critical situations for Strop, and I guess it doesn't get much more critical than this right now.
First pitch in there, strike one. Bautista has walked and scored on the Lind homer in the first. He's popped to first and singled. The American League leader in batting average, homers, runs, walks, you name it. 0-2. Pedro taking a little off there.
It came right at him with 2 strikes. You have to like that. Do a fastball for a strike, and then it looked like a slider on the outside corner for a strike.
The crowd rising behind Strop, and he hits Bautista. Oh my goodness.
Look how you hit him in the wrist.
Immediate medical attention comes out from the Toronto dugout. John Farrell, the manager, trainer. Bautista rolling and writhing in pain after a high hard one came way farther inside than Pedro ever intended it.
Now, fortunately, it didn't hit him in the face. Unfortunately, it hit him in a very dangerous location, the wrist. Very susceptible to an injury when you get hit by a high 90s, mid-90s fastball in that situation. Hopefully he'll be okay. But for Strop, ahead in the count 0-2. I'm sure he's trying to throw in, move him off the plate a little bit. Ball got away from him. And now you're in a situation with Lind that's not a whole lot better. In fact, it might be worse with the bases loaded. There's no room for Lind. That pitch was supposed to be away and didn't even come close. You can see the catcher shift to the outside part of the plate, and the ball is up and in. So he wasn't trying to throw in. He wasn't trying to brush him off the plate. He was trying to throw that ball down and away.
Well, I was like you. I thought at first that might have gotten him. That might have beamed him.
No, it was scary. That's what it looked like.
Well, that has been the issue with Pedro Strop when he's been up before. It's a command harnessing his great stuff. And a well-deserved ovation for Bautista, who stays in the game, trots down to first. That pitch sailing in there above 90. But you saw them test Bautista's grip, make sure he could move that wrist around. Nothing broken. Pretty good bet he'll be x-rayed after the game, but remarkably he will stay in, and the bases are loaded now with 2 outs for Adam Lind. Lind delivering the only 2 Toronto runs of this game with a home run off the facing of the upper deck out of the right field porch in the first inning after Bautista had walked. It went 411 feet, his 4th of the year. Since then he struck out and grounded out. Loaded up with 2 outs. And the first pitch low at 92. This is not even close to the bullpen the Rangers anticipated opening the season with. Names like Epley, Tomko, Ryan Tucker, the latest addition, now getting loose. Making do with no Feliz, no O'Day. 2 balls and no strikes. And now Pedro's thrown 9 pitches, only 2 in the strike zone.
Yeah, and surprisingly, the 2 were the first 2 pitches to Bautista. Had him 0-2 when he hit him. And now the next 2 pitches to Lind haven't even been close.
Adam Lind has faced Strop once. He doubled. The 2-0 is in there for a strike. Good fastball.
That's quality strike right there. Ball's down, a little bit of sinking action to it. In the situation, you just, close game like this late in the game, a walk is not acceptable. A good hard fastball down around the knees, that's acceptable. What happens after that, that's pretty much up to the hitter. You take your chances.
Then barely staying on top of that one to foul it at the plate. 2-2.
Good comeback for Pedro. 2 pitches, not even close. It's 2-0. Throws a strike with his fastball, throws a strike with his slider down and in. He's evened the count.
Now he gets the crowd to their feet, trying to urge him on to strike 3. Or out number 3, however he can get it. Swing and a foul tip. Napoli not quite able to hang on to it.
He made a good pitch. Lind was out in front of it and just barely hit on top of the ball. Just barely ticked it. Sometimes it's hard to tell whether it's a splitter or whether it's a slider. That ball went down pretty well.
A little more than a tip. Napoli actually never had a chance to get his mid on that one. 2-2 again. And again, Lind stays alive. His homer in the first, his 15th all-time against the Rangers, the most he has hit against any opponent in his career. His 10th in this ballpark, the most of any park he has visited. So Adam Lind with a favorable setup here.
Yeah,
against the staff he has bedeviled in a park he loves to quiet the crowd in.
A lot more visits to American League East teams than here too, so fewer at bats.
Again, foul back to the screen.
Yeah, to Strope's credit, he's really come back with quality pitches to Lind after falling behind 2-0. And he's used all his pitches: slider, splitter, fastball. Lind's hanging tough.
This will be the 10th pitch of this at bat. Full count. And no place to put him. McDonald dancing off third, trying to distract Strope. Patterson at second, Bautista at first with 2 outs in a 2-2 game. Nailed but foul, pulled into the seats. Changing up on him that time, and he got Lind way out in front. Boy, a pitch that broke right over the heart of the plate too.
Yeah, in a 3-2 count, the change of speeds had Lind out in front of it. The location was pretty good, but at least had some change of speed, so it fooled him enough to where he pulled it foul.
Fans staying on their feet most of this at bat. And Napoli wanting to make sure everything is straight. This upcoming will be the 11th pitch of this at bat. Lind and Strope just battling foul ball after foul ball. Got him swinging. Pedro Strope with a major step forward in his development as a major league reliever. Right there, Lind, fans with the bases loaded. Stretch time at the ballpark, still 2-2. presents doing more on defense. Pedro Strop wins the 11-pitch battle, striking out Adam Lind with the bases loaded. And keep this a 2-2 tie.
That was hopefully a confidence builder for Pedro. He came back bases loaded, threw 2 pitches to Lind that weren't even close to being strikes, and then came back and got him in a difficult situation. That was pretty impressive.
Blue Jays go to their bullpen now. Their lone lefty, Mark Zepchinski, takes over after Brandon Morrow works 6 innings, allowing 2 runs on 6 hits. He struck out 6 and walked only 1. And Chris Davis sends this one high, but not that deep, out to left center field. Chris now 0 for 2 with a walk. Bourbon next, and then Kinsler. So for Brandon Morrow and Alexi Ogando, both very solid starts, and they will both settle for no decisions today.
Well, we've got a bunt right here. Lind is playing way back at first base, thinking about the strikeout to end that inning. All you got to do is get the ball past the pitcher, and he can beat it out. Lind, my opinion, has got to be even with a bag or on the grass in this situation. Tie game, 7th inning. He's back like it's David Murphy or Chris Davis hitting.
Yeah, he showed bunt. Takes ball 1. Zepchinski making his 13th appearance. That is the most on the staff. Top 2 in the American League. And the batting average against him is 114. Now a little better than that. 4 for 36. Left-handed hitters are 1 for 19 against him. Zepchinski with a strike, and it's 2-1. This Zepchinski start is 2-0 with a 327 earned run average. 25-year-old out of Yorba Linda, California. There's the bunt, and it is blown foul.
They hit him in the batter's box. It's a good try. Yeah, I think all he's got to do is bunt the ball to first base and get it by the pitcher. It's going to be a base hit where Lind is playing him back there. But unlike last year, Julio's had a hard time getting the bunt down. Last year it was pretty much automatic. He didn't beat them all out, but he got a lot of bunts down. You see where Lind is playing way back there. There's no way the left-hand pitcher can beat him to the bag. And if Lind fields it where he is, Julio's going to be by him too. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to get it down.
That was his chance. Instead, it's strike 2. 2-2 pitch. And he went around. Second strikeout for Bourbon today. 0 for 3. And John Farrell will make another move. As the right-handed hitter, Ian Kinsler will be next. Zepchinski gets the 2 left-handed hitters. He was out there to retire. Davis on the fly ball, and Bourbon, after the unsuccessful bunt, strikes out. And we'll take another break. Return to this 2-2 tie in Arlington. is on to try and get the third out of the 7th inning. Ian Kinsler. Frazier, 4th on the all-time Blue Jays list in appearances. This is his 423rd. He is 16 behind Dave Steve for number 3. Hey, baseball fans, Chevy is the proud sponsor of youth baseball leagues in your community. Go to ChevyYouthBaseball.com for a chance at winning a home field makeover. Frazier against Ian Kinsler. The game tied at 2 since the 3rd inning. Frazier 1-1 with a .261 earned run average this year. And starts with a strike. 10 to the 3rd innings. 8 hits, 3 runs all earned. 2 of those on home runs. He's walked 2, struck out 11. Right-handed and left-handed hitters both hitting .200 against him. Quickly ahead of Ian, 0-2. Kinsler today, a ground out, singled in the 3rd, and scored the tying run. Still the last run for either team in this game, and led off the 5th with a double, but then was picked off second base by the catcher Molina. Ian Kinsler 0 for 7 lifetime against him. Frazier originally drafted by the Tigers, 33rd round in 1999. Oak Forest High School product in the Chicago area, then Southern Illinois. 4 seasons there. Traded to the Dodgers, then to the Blue Jays, 04, and he has been with them ever since, a mainstay. Kinsler still alive at 0-2. In the 8th inning for the Blue Jays, Rivera, Encarnacion, and Snyder due up, 5, 6, and 7. Both bullpens quiet for the moment. One ball and 2 strikes. Again, this is the final game of this 10-game homestand, as long a homestand as the Rangers will have this year. And tomorrow night, they open a series at Oakland. It's C.J. Wilson against Trevor Cahill, ace versus ace. 9 p.m. Central Time. 2-2. Telecast tomorrow in the Dallas-Fort Worth area on TXA 21. Saturday, Colby Lewis against Brett Anderson. Sunday, Matt Harrison and Gio Gonzalez. And Monday, Derek Holland against the former Ranger Brandon McCarthy. And the season series between the Rangers and the A's should really be fascinating this year, because the A's feel like, and so far they have shown, that nobody has a better pitching staff. A little light on the offense.
Yeah, there's some good pitching staffs in the American League West. I mean, look at the way Jared Weaver and Dan Herron are throwing the ball right now.
Popped up right on top of the mound, and the third baseman Encarnacion takes it. So Zepchinski and Frazier do the job. A 1-2-3 7th inning for the Rangers. Still 2-2. Pedro Strop out for the 8th inning. And Juan Rivera, the DH, sends one high in the air to left. Cruz shading the sun with the glove and puts it away.
Well, it's probably getting to the time of day where it could be problematic for the left fielder. Probably on one of those humpback line drives, half fly ball, half line drive, somewhere in between might give him some problems. That one looked like it was high enough where Nelly was able to battle the sun okay. But you got a tough hitter right there, dangerous hitter. Rivera's been swinging the bat well. One pitch, he got him. Got him with a hanging off speed pitch, but bottom line is he's out.
Edwin Encarnacion 0 for 3. Has fly to center and fouled out twice. Once to Kinsler, once to Beltre. Pedro Strop winning that marathon battle with Adam Lynn with the bases loaded, striking him out to end the 7th inning. It's got to be money in the experience and confidence bank for him. Andrus handles the skimmer. And Encarnacion is 0 for 4. Let's check in with Noxie.
All right, thanks, Dave. Time for the progressive fan of the game. It has to be Anna, because Anna, big-time Ranger fan, decided, hey, this is going to be her last game. She's going to move to New Zealand. So, Anna, here's the baggers, hat, here's shirt. Here's the ape. No, just kidding. The ape stays here. Congratulations. What are you going to miss most?
My Fox family.
There we go. Fox. Oh, this is all Fox family. All right, well, congratulations. Way to go, ape. You can stay here if you want. All right, there you go, Dave.
I'm not sure exactly how to follow that. Strike one.
At least we get to keep the 8.
Yes. Oh, is that a relief? You confirm that. 0-1 to Snyder. He rips it very foul into the club seats down in that corner. And it's 0-2. Snyder struck out, singled, and flied out. And again, no action in either bullpen. This game in the hands of Strop and Frazier's. We play in the 8th.
If you look at the Ranger bullpen, probably the only way that Oliver or Rhodes will pitch is if the Rangers have a lead. Tomko probably can't pitch. He pitched 5 innings a couple of days ago. That leaves Ryan Tucker, who was just called up from the minor leagues, and Dave Bush, who certainly can pitch today. He's the Ranger long man.
Again, Darren O'Day undergoing surgery this afternoon to repair a tear in his labrum in his left hip. Same type injury that A-Rod and Matt Trainer have had to deal with lately.
Well, the good news is they both came back from it. Darren should be fine.
On the 60-day DL while they'll recover. Opposite field bid. Cruz is there again. And a much easier 8th inning
nicer
for Pedro Strop. 1, 2, 3 in the Ranger 8th. Andrus, Young, and Beltre. In the first inning, Adam Lind, with a man on, hits the facing of the upper deck in right field. Rangers get a run back on a Beltre RBI, scoring Andrus in the first. And in the third inning, Michael Young with a sac fly delivered Ian Kinsler with the tying run, and that's where we've been ever since. Still a 2-2 game as we arrive in the bottom of the 8th inning. Andrus Young and Beltre against Jason Frazier, who got the final out of the 7th. And right up the middle goes Elvis, his second hit of the afternoon.
Well, you want to get the leadoff guy on. The leadoff guy happens to have speed, and now you've got the middle of the lineup coming up. So that's a good situation for the Rangers to be in. Starts him off with a high fastball inside half of the plate, and Elvis was obviously ready for it. Darren Oliver warming up in case the Rangers score. They would try to get back-to-back saves. Under some circumstances, this would be a bunting situation. I don't think Michael's going to be bunting right here. Not hitting .350.
Young today, 0 for 2 with the sac fly in the third inning. His 16th run batted in. He's also struck out and flied out.
I think what you might see Michael do is try to shoot a ball through the gap between first and second. Bautista's really shading him toward the right field line, as is Patterson over in right center field. Infield double play depth. Not looking for a bunt.
Young against Frazier, 4 for 13. That's .308 with a couple of doubles. And in the Toronto bullpen now, Frank Francisco begins to loosen up. Frank back home. Happy to greet friends and fans of his very highly successful stay as a Texas Ranger. Says he's enjoying it in Toronto, but he really loved it here.
Yeah, he was almost emotional when he talked about how much he missed it here in Texas. And it was down near the batting cage when Ron Washington was talking to him about the ring. And you could tell by the look on his face how proud and happy he was to receive that championship ring.
Frazier finally ready with the 0-1 pitch, and that is in there. 0-2 to Michael. Michael on one of his trademark weeks at a time rolls at the plate. 15-game hitting streak stopped in this series. Started another one last night, he hopes, with a 2-run double. And without a hit today, he is the reason that this is a 2-2 ball game. Matching goose eggs from the 4th inning on. Both starters long gone now. Brandon Morrow, who went 6 innings for Toronto, 2 runs on 6 hits, 6 strikeouts, a walk, 107 pitches. And Alexi Ogando, 6 innings, 2 runs on 4 hits. He struck out 7 and walked 3. Seen an awful lot of offense in this series and this homestand, but no jet stream today, really no wind to speak of, and it's been an afternoon for the pitchers.
Afternoon for the pitchers and the fans. Perfect day to watch a ball game. You have your choice. You can go on the right field line and have shade. You go on the left field line and have sun, whichever way you want it.
Yeah, 73 degrees for our first pitch. It is 74 degrees almost 3 hours later. Looking ahead in the Blue Jay ninth, 8-9-1 due up. Molina, McDonald, and McCoy. Another toss over there to first.
Well, Frazier knows this is a situation with a game on the line, and you've got a guy that's stolen over 30 bases the last couple of years, so he's going to do whatever he takes to keep him close, regardless of what the fans think, and I don't think you can blame him for that. Elvis has a good lead.
He stole in the first inning his 5th base of the season, his first in 9 games. Hit and run, and Michael pulls that one into the seats. Frazier taking something off that time. Michael out in front of it. Still 1-2. You see the career numbers for Elvis. And we'll see if Ron Washington starts him again here. Blue Jays hoping for a double play. He is not going. The pitch is way outside. It's 2-2. Up next will be Beltre, who's got a couple of hits today and an RBI. So Rangers have the right men up here in the 8th. The run producing part of the order. Boy, this Toronto bunch of pitchers we've seen today, by far the slowest working staff we've seen this year. Morrow setting that tone, and Frazier, I think, has even slowed it down more than Morrow did. Here he goes, opposite field. Bautista in a catch in fair territory. Andrus is able to return to first base.
Oh, we saw Bautista take a base hit away from Andrus back in the 5th inning, a line drive to right field. And I don't know that we've seen right fielder play much more closer to the line than Bautista does, and it's really paid some dividends late in the ball game. Elvis made a bid down the line, and that one by Michael was right down the line. And you can see where he starts from, very close to the line, comes in and makes a nice play. If he doesn't catch that ball, that's at least a triple and a run. So he was well positioned and makes a nice running catch.
Good bid there for extra bases by Young.
Elvis was running on the play. Fortunately, Bautista had to dive for that ball. If he was able to catch it on the run, then he's got an easy throw to first for the double play.
Well, now here is Beltre, who got his 21st run batted in the first inning. He leads the league. And this will start all over again. Oh, he gave him a good pitch to wail on there.
Beltre upset the way he banged his shoe with his bat. You just hope you get another one.
In the Ranger bullpen, Darren Oliver looks ready. He is standing and watching, wondering if he will have a lead to protect. It may come in still a 2-2 game in the night. Check swing, and he didn't go. 1 ball and 1 strike. Only 11 hits combined in this game. The Rangers with 7, the Blue Jays with 4. Only 13 hits by the Rangers in the last 2 games. But they won that one last night and try to end this series 2-2 split if they can pull this one out late. Pitch out with nothing on.
You can't blame the Blue Jays. Elvis has been running a couple of times since he got to first base. And after the pitch out, he might be running right here.
He is not, and it is skied to center field. Corey Patterson just about in his tracks for out number 2. So Beltre 2 for 4, and Nelly Cruz 0 for 3 on the day.
Well, both those pitches, the first pitch and the fourth pitch, are pitches we've seen Adrian kill on occasion this year. But both of those he just got underneath, fouled one off and popped one up.
Cruz 0 for 3, 2 more strikeouts. That's 19 in his last 14 games. Against Frazier, Cruz is 1 for 4. That hit was an RBI double. Fans have had quite enough of that, but Tom, as you said, this is the absolute last worry on Jason Frazier's mind.
He's got to do whatever he has to do to keep Elvis close, and if he goes, give Molina a chance to throw him out. That's what one thing he can do right there is vary the time he takes to deliver the ball to the plate. That was kind of a quick step. It makes it very difficult to get a good jump to time his move to the plate. Throwing over is one way, stepping off. I think the toughest way to get a jump is when the pitcher doesn't give you a pattern in his delivery to the plate.
Already today, Seattle has won 7-2 at Detroit.
Yeah, they went and beat Detroit 3 straight times. Detroit was playing pretty well, too.
Seattle 5.5 behind the Rangers. Beginning play. Runner goes. Throw by Molina is not in time. Elvis steals second for the second time today.
Yep, and even with all the attempts to keep Elvis close, they couldn't stop him from stealing second. Those are the kind of bases that are a real base stealer steals. When everyone in the park knows he's probably going to go, the pitcher's doing everything he can to keep him from getting a jump, and he steals it anyway. That's a good stolen base. A meaningful stolen base. Tie game, 8th inning. That's not stealing when you're ahead or behind 5-1. That's stealing one when you need the base and everyone knows you're going to try to get it.
The numbers with the Rangers, with runners in scoring position, some of the best in baseball. Not many chances today. But Cruz has one here. 1 ball and 1 strike. Outside, 2-1. We've talked about how, excuse me, Tom, talked about how Cruz has been using the whole field.
Well, they're playing him shallow in right field.
That would be a good place to go, wouldn't it?
Bautista is playing in pretty much the same place he was playing Michael, same place he was playing Elvis.
3 balls and a strike.
Rangers now come after Cruz. You get to the part of the lineup where you've got 3 out of 4 left-hand hitters. Blue Jays only have 1 left-handed reliever. That's Zepchinski, but they've already used him to face that same part of the lineup.
Ball 4. 2 men on, and Mitch Moreland will be next. But it would appear the afternoon is over for Jason Frazier. Frazier here in the 8th inning, allowing the leadoff single by Elvis. The steal of second. Now the 2-out walk by Cruz, and Frankie Francisco comes in. turf. Pitching bow here, Rangers ballpark in Arlington. In for the 4th time this year. He's had a good start, as you can see, as a Blue Jay acquired for Mike Napoli January 25th from the team with whom he made his major league debut in 2004. And over the years, pitched in 277 games with a 17-15 record, a 375 earned run average. Francisco here in charge of getting the 3rd out, the 8th inning, with 2 men on. Andrus at 2nd and Cruz at 1st. Well, Saturday, NASCAR on Fox moves to Richmond, where Kyle Busch will try to defend his title. Coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing begins Saturday with the pre-race show delivered by Pizza Hut at 6 p.m. in high definition on Fox. The Ranger runners with 2 outs. Mitch Moreland singled his last time up. He has struck out and reached on an error. And goes right after a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Mitch Moreland last night in the bottom of the 7th. Off of Octavio Dotel, the game winner. His 5th game-winning run batted in already this year. No one else on the team has more than 2. And only Johnny Damon in the entire major leagues has more. Francisco ready and fires a strike at 93, and it's quickly 0-2.
Frankie has a good fastball and also an effective curveball and splitter. Mitch has seen a couple of fastballs, hasn't seen the off-speed pitches yet.
The shortstop McDonald bluffing, coming towards second base as if to take a throw. He had returned to his position when Frank turned and looked Andrus back to the bag. Moreland ready, and the 0-2 pitch fouled out of play. Frank Francisco, of course, started last year as the Ranger closer, blew a couple of saves in week 1, and traded jobs in effect with Neftali Feliz, setting up Feliz's Rookie of the Year campaign with his rookie record 40 saves. Frank, for the most part, when healthy, was the 8th inning man for the Rangers. Rangers very happy to have Mike Napoli, but if Frankie were still around, he would definitely come in handy. All the injuries. Outside with that one. 1-2.
I think the other side of it are the injuries that Frankie's had too. Frankie is, I think, somewhat of a health risk. He was on the disabled list at the beginning of this year. He was on the disabled list last year. And I think what the Rangers said, if they're going to have to spend $5 or $6 million on a player, that they were a little reluctant because of Frankie's injury past.
Runners go, and the pitch, a check swing. He did not go around. They appealed to Rob Drake at 3rd. He said no. And with the double steal now, Andrus moves up to 3rd, Cruz to 2nd.
Well, that's a case of the Rangers know Frankie. He's very deliberate to the plate. And the only way you would steal in that situation is if you know you can make it. And obviously it was a very easy proposition for both guys.
Sliding optional. How close was the check swing? Not close at all. He definitely held up.
Elvis is now 7 for 7 stealing bases this year. He's stolen 3 today. Last year he stole 30-plus bases, but he was thrown out 15 or so times. This year, picking his spots, he's 7 for 7.
The Rangers today, 5 for 5. They had 17 steals in their first 24 games. And now as Molina arrives on the mound, he'll be joined by their pitching coach, Bruce Walton. This game literally riding on every pitch in this matchup between Francisco and Moreland. Mitch with 3 home runs. They've all been on this homestand. And the home run last night, Mitch's only hit in the last 3 games. So again, it comes down to what is needed at a particular point in the game. And Mitch, so very early in his career, has already shown that that is what he's all about, offensively, defensively. You just have a hard time thinking of anything that he hasn't done right. At a veteran level. Frankie ready. And the 2-2 pitch gets him swinging. So the Rangers threaten, but they get nothing in the 8th inning. They leave 2 in scoring position. On to the 9th, Molina, McDonald, and McCoy due up.
To check out FoxSportsSouthwest.com, a nice feature on the old men in the Rangers pen. One of them, of course, Darren Oliver. He is on the mound as we speak. Also, the latest on the Stars coaching watch. And don't forget to follow Matt Mosley on Twitter, at Matt Mosley, to get all your draft updates. And if you want the latest on the royal wedding, follow me, at I'm ready for the royal wedding to be over so I don't have to hear about it every day. Guys?
I think I'll log on there. I'm right there with her. Well, Darren Oliver on to work the 9th. And Molina, the number 8 hitter, swings at the first pitch, grounds one to Adrian Beltre. One pitch and an easy first out. The 11th appearance for Darren Oliver. When available, he is now the Rangers closer. And his staff high 11th appearance today. 8 of his first 10 have been scoreless. He is 2 for 2 in save opportunities. A scoreless 9th last night. And matching his career high for saves, dating all the way back to his first tour with the Rangers, 1994. He also got the save Saturday against Kansas City. And fires a strike to McDonald, who is 0 for 3 today. Oliver the save Saturday, Arthur Rhodes the save Sunday. Both setting club records for the oldest pitchers ever to record a save. Darren at 40, Rhodes at 41. I'm not sure where that pitch missed. 2 balls and a strike. McDonald 1 for 5 all time against Darren, and he is out in front of that one. Sent it in a hurry into that left field corner. Arthur Rhodes, the current record holder, and the record that Oliver broke, held by Goose Gossage at age 40 and 18 days. But not a lot of people remember that Goose Gossage was a Ranger. Full count. Mike McCoy will be next. He is 0 for 4. Only 4 hits against 4 Ranger pitchers today. Bourbon playing deep out in center field. No chance to get to that one. It's a bloop single. John McDonald aboard with 1 out.
And those situations when the outfield's playing back so that the offensive team has a harder time getting a double, then sometimes you're susceptible to this kind of a bloop hit. McDonald, not a hitter with a lot of power, generally would be played much more shallow than that. Probably at a depth where Bourbon might have been able to come in and catch that ball. What the manager's saying is, I'm willing to give up that kind of a single to take away the possibility that he can hit it over my head for a double.
Well, the discussion here with McDonald at first, 1 out. Mike McCoy 0 for 4 today with 3 strikeouts.
Escobar is going to pinch hit, it looks like.
You would expect that he would be lifted here, and that is in fact what John Farrell is going to do. With McCoy very ineffective today. So it'll be Escobar, 276 hitter with 2 homers, 7 runs batted in. Junell, starting shortstop and leadoff hitter in the first 3 games of this series. He is 1 for 2 lifetime against Oliver. Escobar, who defected from Havana to get his baseball career going and turn around his life and become an American. Spent 3 days on a boat, leaving family and friends behind. They finally were rescued. Escobar set up residence in Miami, which made him subject to the baseball draft. 1 ball and 1 strike. Friends growing up in Havana with Brian Pena, the catcher with the Royals. He defected October 6th of 2004 along with 5 other players and another 30 people on the boat. One of those amazing stories. Now in the big leagues. And as Ron Washington has said on a few occasions about Alexi Ogando and his path to becoming a major leaguer, same's got to be true for Escobar. He has been through quite a bit more in his life than the game of baseball can ever present in terms of pressure and stress. Rangers hoping for a double play ball here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. In the Ranger ninth, the bottom third of the order is due up. Napoli, Davis, and Bourbon. They are a collective 0 for 8 today. Chris Davis, the only man who's reached, and that was on a walk his first time up. Well, still a couple outs to take care of here, and that little looper will fall for a base hit out in short right. McDonald easily around to third base, and some very fortunate placement on bloops by McDonald and the pinch hitter Escobar against Darren Oliver here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, you got the pitch actually right in the middle of the plate. Escobar didn't do much with it, but he was very effective with what he did do. Just blooped it into right field. The outfield playing him fairly deep in right center field. Very easy for McDonald to go from first to third. Now with Patterson up there, you're looking for a double play. Squeeze play is always a possibility.
Well, he is fast and very difficult to double up. He is bunting, and it's a good one. Oliver will not have a play as Corey Patterson squeezes home John McDonald with the go-ahead run. It is 3-2 Blue Jays.
That looked more like a safety squeeze. Didn't look like the runner was coming. But Patterson laid down a beautiful bunt. And McDonald had an easy time scoring. Let's take a look. The runner is waiting to see the bunt's down, and here comes the runner. On a suicide squeeze, the runner commits and is running regardless of where the bunt is. He's already gone, and then he is at the mercy of the bunt. In this particular case, he waits at third base, sees the bunt, determines he can make it, and then scores easily.
Corey Patterson had not been called on for a sacrifice, or at least had not executed a sacrifice bunt all year, and even better there as he beats it out. So a safety squeeze RBI single, bringing McDonald home, sending Escobar to second base. Still only one out. And here is Jose Bautista, who with one swing of the bat could really make for a difficult bottom of the ninth. Oliver starts him high and tight. Bautista, first time up, walked. And the next batter, Lynn, sent one 411 feet to the facing of the upper deck in right field. Bautista has also popped up, singled, and last time up hit by a pitch on his wrist. Very scary moment.
Patterson has 4 hits in this series. 4 of his hits, 2 have been bunts, and 2 are little ground balls that just barely got by the pitcher. So he's taking advantage of where he's hit those little dinky ground balls. A couple of really good bunts. He also launched a 3-run homer, so he's done a little bit of everything to the Rangers.
2 balls and a strike.
Now you're at a situation, if you're around Washington, where the team has lost the lead. You don't want Darren to throw 25 or 30 pitches, and so you're forced now to get someone else up in the bullpen so that Darren, if he stays in trouble, doesn't have to throw too many more pitches.
Well, ball 3 there. Ryan Tucker should be pretty close to warm and ready out there. But Wash giving Oliver a chance here. Maybe he can get the double play. Here it comes at 3-1, and that is very high. So a rough 9th inning for Darren Oliver. Molina grounded out. McDonald singled. Little bloop to center. Escobar singled. A little bloop to right field. And then perfectly executed safety squeeze bunt by Corey Patterson. Not hit hard at all. But this is no longer a tie game. And since the next batter, Adam Lind, is left-handed, Washington leaving Oliver in to do battle here. Lind has hit his 4th homer of the year. And a big cut and a miss. 4 homers now. 3 of them in this series. He had 2 on Tuesday. Waves and misses, and it's 0-2. Lynn now with 20 runs batted in. Right on Adrian Beltre's tail. Oliver gets him swinging. 3 pitches. And Lind out number 2 here in the 9th inning. And now the DH, Juan Rivera.
All 3 pitches, pretty much the same thing. All of them away. Got Lind to just wave at that last pitch. Now a tough batter right here. Rivera's swinging the bat pretty well. Want to limit the damage, get out, keep it a 1-run game, make it a much easier task for the Rangers in the bottom of the 9th inning.
First pitch to Rivera, ground ball. Beltre has it bounce off his chest, and another run comes home. Escobar scores from third. first time we've seen that happen this year to Adrian Beltre. He has made all the plays. Now they've got a rundown going. And the throw to second base gets through. Another run comes home. Patterson has scored. Well, all that after everybody in the park thought the play had come to a halt. And it turns out that is far from the case. As Escobar followed by Patterson coming home.
Now, that's the most unlikely run scored against the Rangers this year. First error by Beltre, who's been impeccable at third base. The ball just came up and he wasn't unable to catch it. Turns around, stops the runners. But a run had scored, and then the other run scored on an error.
So here's Encarnacion 0 for 4. The 8th Blue Jay to bat here in the 9th inning. They have come up with 3 runs. Two balls and no strikes. So the ruling on that play, Tom, E5 on Beltre, E1 on Oliver.
Yeah, it was just such an unusual play, only because Beltre missed a ball. The runner at second is way off the base. He's an easy out at second base, but the throw wasn't made to convert the out. 2 runs on plays you would never expect to see the Rangers give up a run on.
That one very deep. Well foul and well up in the club section. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Encarnacion.
And now you've got the double whammy of 3 run scoring and also Darren having thrown 25 pitches already.
Bautista leads off second, Rivera off first, and a breaking ball for a full count. The 9th inning started quietly. Molina grounded out to Beltre. Then the bloop singles by McDonald and Escobar. The squeeze by Patterson. Bautista the walk. Big out number 2. The strikeout of Lind. And then the craziness beginning with the error on the bouncer off of Beltre's chest. Runners go, and this one is skied to right center field. Bourbon makes the catch. And the Blue Jays come up with 3 runs on 3 base hits, a couple of errors. Last chance for the Rangers. Napoli, Davis, and Bourbon. Sports Southwest, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Dave Barnett with Tom Grieve. Frank Francisco now in position to get a victory as the Blue Jays, sometimes in bizarre fashion, put 3 runs up against Aaron Oliver in the 9th inning. A couple of errors factoring in. The second on the throw by Oliver himself that got through Kinsler at second base and allowed Corey Patterson to score. So yeah, now
wasn't anything resembling a hard hit ball in that inning. 2 bloopers, a bunt, an error, a couple errors, and that's all it took to get 3 runs.
The first scoring for Toronto since the first inning. Well, here's Napoli, 0 for 3. And ball 1. 5 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, 10 men left on for the Jays. 2 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors, and the Rangers have left 7. In there for a strike defensively. Escobar stays in the game, and he is now at shortstop. McDonald moves from shortstop to second base as McCoy was lifted for the pinch hitter Escobar. 1-2. Frank Francisco in just his 4th game as a Blue Jay, trying to get his first win. Napoli way out in front of the slow breaking ball. Out number 1. Francisco has faced 2 men and he has struck both of them out. Joe Gumnow, give us a preview of Rangers Live.
Well, guys, before the top of the 9th with Oliver, it looked like it was one of those grinded out games like Ron Washington likes to refer to. But now we're going to talk about the bottom of the 9th in this inning. We're also going to get reaction from the locker room with Emily Jones. And, of course, here from Ron Washington. We'll set you up for the first of 4 with Oakland. That's tomorrow coming up on Rangers Live with Buzz and Jim.
All right, we look forward. Chris Davis. The strike go past. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. So Francisco comes in with 2 men on after the double steal. 2 in scoring position in the 8th and strikes out Mitch Moreland. Strikes out Mike Napoli to begin the 9th. Davis can't catch up to that one at 93. Of course, the Ranger hitters very familiar with Frank Francisco, his repertoire where he likes to work the strike zone. He is aware of their hitting proclivities, and he gets another one past Chris Davis at 93. 3 batters faced, 3 strikeouts for Frank Francisco.
That's pretty much vintage Frankie right there. Effective fastball and off-speed pitches he can strike you out with, curveball or a splitter.
Well, struck out the man he was traded for to get this inning going, and now the Rangers' last hope, Bourbon, who has struck out his last 2 trips. Hit into a fielder's choice in the 2nd. Strike 1. The Rangers are really seeing Frank Francisco at his best. At his best, he's right there with the very best. I want to slap right to Adam Lind to end the game. And Toronto takes 3 games out of 4, ending the Rangers' 10-game homestand on a losing note, as the Blue Jays come up with 3 in the 9th inning without hitting a ball hard, and Francisco retires all 4 batters he faces. 1 hard hit ball, wouldn't you know, Bourbon put it right in the mid of Adam Lind. So the Rangers fall now to 15-10, and and we'll take a break and talk about some Rangers Live on the other end.